Alright, so it's been a little bit, but we're going to be picking right back up with Raging Loop. Now, like in the last stream, if you didn't happen to catch it, I did finish off Chrono Trigger, which I will probably be uploading all of those to YouTube in a bit. Get them all done at once. I had the finale of Outer Wilds I never put up, so I did that along with the rest of Raging Loop. So I'll also upload today's stream as a separate stream besides whatever the VOD is. And then tomorrow, so I'll put the entirety of Chrono Trigger up on YouTube. But yeah, we're going to be going back in. Going to go back to finding out. So the last place we left off with Raging Loop is we completely went through the first section of days where we learned the rules, found out who the wolves are, and what everything else happened, and everyone died. So we started back over, we're getting introduced it, and this time we and the two reporters, we got them into the game. So now there are more people into this game in total. So the question remains is everybody still exactly the roles they were? And the three of us are just normal people here? Or are we going to get new roles? Who knows? We'll have to figure it out. Also, I actually played the game where this is based off of, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, on Easter, and the real game is actually only lasts for one round. It doesn't last for a long time, even unless I guess it might be a special set of rules. So it's interesting, the actual game itself, which I happen to win all three times. Yes, yeah. Although the second time was literally because one of the players that we were playing with just could not understand the rules and gave up who was the werewolf when they were supposed to be protecting the werewolf. And we're like, oh, all right, I guess we just win then. At the last we were going to get it wrong. At the last second, they just told us, oh, yeah, no, that's the werewolf. No, I'm the one protecting it. And we're like, oh, okay. But good times, good times. But anyway, let's go back to the story. It should be a full screen game, and let's pull this up. I forgot I had Lae'zel in the wedding dress. It's been such a while since I've been doing Chrono Trigger this entire time. I forgot that was up there. But yeah, like I said before, I'm going to be doing Raging Loop a little bit more often now and then. And then I'm going to be starting another puzzle game called The Blue Prince, which I've seen a couple people playing, but haven't watched them at all because apparently this is another one of those games where you need to learn a bunch of rules to then play it, so we'll figure it out from there. I've also been playing so much classic World of Warcraft, you won't even fucking believe it. I'm not going to say where I've been playing it because I don't want Blizz to fucking go after the one I'm playing on, because fuck you, Blizz. You don't touch this one I'm playing on. This one I'm playing on better be up for decades, you understand? God damn, that's some intense music. Alright, let's go back to where we left off. The true beginning. Alright, so this is us. This is the first night is just happening. We're here to see if anyone gets murdered at all and to see if things might have changed besides, of course, us and the reporters not being dead. Maybe, because they could be dead. My eyes were closed, but it was bright. That could only mean that morning had come. No. Well, yes, but there was something more important. I'd actually closed my eyes and fallen asleep. I got to my feet. Sure enough, it was morning. I'd actually ended up sleeping. Well, that meant that since I completed my preparations, I was actually invited to the feast. That was proof that as long as you had a place to stay, you could participate in the feast even if you lived here only for a day. It was 6 o'clock right now. I'd gone to bed way too early, but that provided a good night's sleep. I couldn't sense any beasts outside. Yeah, definitely not the opposite of what I've been doing, going to bed at 3 or 4 a.m. and then waking up at 9 and being like, oh, that's enough. Although, 6 hours from 3 to 9, that's enough, right? Right. Without any hesitation, I opened the door. Sure enough, there was the mist. Last time, the first one who'd come out to me was Kemi, but that was later than it was now. I was supposed to wait before making a move? No. This was a chance to learn something I hadn't last time. I couldn't let this opportunity slip me by. Yasumizu was eerily silent. I couldn't see anything. My whole body was covered in cold mist, and I was all alone. It reminded me of my time wandering the endless riverbed before death. Crap. People despaired when they were cold, hungry, and alone, and could barely see. This was unavoidable, and not something I could win against. I had to find someone right away. Who's there? Suddenly I heard an angry shout from nearby. It made me turn rigid, and then... You? Early, huh? Kanzo Makashimashi came out of the mist, gun in hand. Good morning. Woke up just now? Yep, nothing special happened. Saw your stomach? Huh? The Guardian show on the stomach. Oh yeah. Kimmy had told me that last time. Also mentioned something about Miko not being able to read it. Go and look. If you say so. Acting like I didn't know what he was talking about, I returned to the hut. Man, that was close. I hadn't even considered the possibility that I'd have a guardian. Well, it was unlikely, but I checked to be sure. I lifted up my t-shirt and exposed my stomach. Dun dun dun! What I saw almost made me shriek. I haven't even noticed it. I didn't realize there was something like this on my body. It was drawn in red fluid, most likely blood. And it was nothing that I'd ever seen before. Also, there was some eerie text there. I need a mirror. No, I'll take a photo. After a bit of trial and error, I finally read what it said. The tower look out, the snake find the lurking Yomi, cleanse and purify or die. So, okay, so we're the tower this time. We're the ones who gets to look underneath our pillow to determine if someone is a wolf or not. So my guess is we're going to use this to use on somebody that we know is a wolf and see if they are still a wolf or not. Because last time, the big guy, I forget his name, it's been a while, was this role. Who could look to see who they were. Okay. So this mark was the snake's. It clearly said the tower lookout. The description seemed faithful to the original source. Oh wait, or is the snake the one that can tell after someone's... No, that's the raven. I think I'm right. Okay. Had a certain aura about it. Find the lurking Yomi. The snake's role was to search for the Yamabito. Yeah, I was right the first time. Okay, we're good. Cleanse and purify or die. Man, not being roundabout at all, are we? Anyway, that meant the corruption would take me if I didn't wash it off, huh? I quickly grabbed the wet towel and washed off the freaky warning. It even smelled like blood. I didn't know where it belonged to, though. If we were animal blood, I might have been in danger of catching something. Man, what were they thinking? Oh, so can we go and smell people's stomachs and be like, well, you washed your stomach, so you obviously have a role. You didn't, which means you don't have a... It belonged to Takumi-san last time. He quickly revealed it, and I assumed the wolves use it to their advantage. After all, the snake was the human's only way of actively confirming who was a wolf or not. This made it even harder for me to die. And, just like I thought yesterday, the rules had changed a lot. There was now no guarantee that Yasunaga-kun and Tei-san were wolves. They could easily be humans. The same went for everyone else. It was best to assume that I had been sent back to square one in that front. Wait, how was I supposed to be the snake's power anyway? The blood letters only said that I was a snake and had to wash it off right away. Did someone know? But if I went to ask, I'd basically be telling them I was the snake. Would there be an explanation during the first feast? Which the answer is yes, he just wasn't there for it. I had no choice but to believe. For now, I would just return to the plaza. Good morning. I walked through the mist as I called out. Over here, boy. This time, I had no problems meeting up with Kanzo-san. Did you check it? Yep. Well? My mind stopped for a second. Well, what? Nothing. Don't mind it. He looked away. Was that a leading question just now? If there was something on my stomach, it meant I had a guardian. I was meant to be a newcomer who didn't know anything. Wasn't it unfair to ask me that? If it actually said or even implied there'd been something on my stomach, that would mean that I had a guardian. Or if I said there was nothing, that could be used against me further down the line, putting me at a disadvantage. If he was a wolf who knew the implications of his question, then again, I felt like he retracted his question because he knew it could lead to that kind of misunderstanding. Shit, I'd love to ask that, but I couldn't use knowledge I wasn't supposed to have. Makashima-san, right? Have we looked around yet? Huh? That seemed like a yes to me. Is everyone alright? One's dead. Huh? Wait, you completely lost me just now. What's going on? Stop making noise. I'll kill you. Kill. Did he really just use that word so casually? Stay where you are. Stay where you are. I don't trust you. He brandished his rifle again. I don't know anything. I didn't do anything. We'll decide that at the feast. He sure was assertive. Maybe he didn't have a guardian this time. This made me realize I could tell friend from foe by searching for differences in their behavior from last time around. For now, though, I just had to make it through this awkward moment with Kanzo-san. I mean, okay, so obviously the first thing you need to do is you need to tell everybody what you are, and then if they murder you, if a wolf murders you, you just know to you maybe use what you know from that run to go back to where that time where you told everybody. You just load back at that point. And then just go from there again. Maybe you can even see who kills you. And then you'd be like, oh, yep, wolf over there. Especially if you're the snake, you can just be like, all right, yeah, I'm the snake. I looked them up. And you don't even have to look them up. They can give themselves away by trying to kill you. And because they just don't know the next time. So you just start the loop over because you told everybody right at the very beginning. And you just show up and go, yep, I'm the snake. Yeah, okay. Oh, yep, that person killed me. You load back at that first point. You just show up to them. Okay. So I'm the snake and he's a wolf. Oh, you just don't tell me. You go, that one's a wolf. Anyway. Or you can also tell who's a snake or not, because if they're actually a ladder and not the snake, you can climb them instead of sliding down on them. Soon enough, we were joined by the others. Tei-san, Takumi-san, Kaori-san, Yoshigitsu-kun, and the old wolf guy. Takumi-san and Kanzo-san then went to Misato Mansion and the dorm, leaving me with just a woman, a child, and two elders. Hey, old fart. I wasn't one of those old farts, damn it. You mean me? Who else? Now that's just uncalled for. What is it anyway? You know anything? Huh? Like what? You got sent to Yasumizu and this happened. It's fucking weird, ain't it? You talked to Higuchi, right? That asshole tell you anything? Nothing comes to mind. I played it off. Looks like the streak of bad luck I had since Tokyo is still going on. I can sense this situation isn't normal. The message is crazy. Like you're willing to talk, you're batshit. He said that, but his tone wasn't as antagonistic as before. It actually felt somewhat friendly. I could only guess that my act from yesterday warmed him up to me. A bit, anyway. Yoshigitsu, this again? I ain't picking a fight this time. And stop pushing yourself. You're all pale. I'm sorry about this, Fusashi-san. And Yoshigitsu, you behave. Humph. I don't mind. By the way, Rikaku-san and Miko-chan aren't here. Aren't here? It seems so. They usually wake up early. I don't give a shit about the village heads. Stop it, Yashu-kun. I'll go and call them. The relationships here were really complicated. Soon enough, Tei-san brought Rikaku-san and Miko. Good morning. As she entered the plaza, she looked out at the mist-covered faces. Upon seeing mine, she gasped, then gave me a very slight bow. Oni-chan, I rolled in my futon and hit my leg. It hurts. Miko seemed in poor spirits. A bit later, I will make it better with some magic words. Magic? I wouldn't have been all that surprised if she was actually capable of that. Is this my first time seeing Yasumizu's mist? It's awfully thick. It's my first time as well. I believe we will have to perform the feast.
true. I don't want no fucking family head tell me what to do at the goddamn feast.
Yoshigitsu! I'm sorry for being so powerless. Bah, Oni-chan, you're scary.
I ain't okay with you being here. You're still a village head, and there's no way to tell what you're thinking.
What's your beef with her? Do you hate the village heads that much?
Damn right I do. Without them, Mom would've... I'll expose you eventually.
Yoshigitsu-kun sure was aggressive this time. Did he have a guardian? This line of thinking felt dangerous. Making too many assumptions seemed more risky than not knowing anything. Oni-chan. Rikaku-san wasn't expressive as always, but I could tell she was feeling depressed. Man, things are difficult here, huh? Haruki-sama. She looked around in confusion before. I am relieved that you are well, truly. She then gave me a smile. Hey, it's not like a miss can do much to me, right? Although I think it would be funny, right? Since we're doing the loop thing, it'd be funny if every time we got here, no matter what we did, the wolves always killed us first. So we're like, okay, fuck, time to go really far back again and try to figure out how do I do this one more time. It's like, all right, it's our first night and I'm dead. Fuck, goddamn, I didn't even get a chance to try. All right, let's do this again. And dies again, motherfucker. Saranaga, that is the name of the river below. Its mists are said to be the breath of Yomi. They are considered to be the worst of ill omens here in Fujiyoshi. yeah, considering the convenience store lady can pull anything she wants out of the back of her store, it's like, okay, I need a turret gun, a whole section of full plate armor, and I need one of those, one of those little kid alarm toys where you put it across the door and it makes a noise if someone walks through it. I need one of those. Can you get me a ring so I can put it on the front of my cabin? Nasada-san told me that people always die when there are mists. She made a stern face, unlike any I'd seen on her. What a horrible thing to say to a newcomer such as yourself. Oh, but she said it only because the mist is so dense it causes many accidents. Even so, it is impudent. People still live here. Saying that someone is certain to die is too ominous. I've only been here for a day, but from what I can tell, you're pretty different from the other family heads, aren't you? Why would you think that? Well, the way you talk about Yasumizu, for one. It's nothing like Masato-san or Kamifudiyoshi's people. I merely think that it should be shown the respect it deserves. Fujiyoshi as a whole depends heavily on Yasumizu, so... What do you mean? Can you elaborate? I shall tell you. Eventually. Now is not. Yeah, I understand. It's a bad time for that. I want to protect Yasumizu. Thus, Rikaku-san fell silent. Feeling a bit awkward, I resumed waiting. Soon enough, Takumi-san brought Kiyanosuke-shi to us. He immediately started worrying over Rikaku-san, as expected, but she seemed unreceptive to him. I might have gotten in the way of his love story, if made me feel kind of bad. Alright, so they said that there's one person who's dead, and so far they haven't gone over the two reporters yet. So it's one of the two reporters, most likely. Because I think that's the only person of the town that hasn't been mentioned yet, besides maybe the kids. I might have gotten in the way of some love story. It made me feel kind of bad. Eventually, Kanzo-san returned along with the students. Nope, here they are, okay. Mamiya-san. Mamiya-san, watch where you step. Whoa. Seeing Hisako Miyama with them filled me with relief. Thus, I finally understood what would happen now. Good morning, everyone. Ignoring everyone's gloomy faces, she forced a smile and greeted us like it was a normal thing. The inhabitants didn't respond. I also had to guess about what happened, so I had the trouble picking up my words too. What's wrong with y'all, all of you? Sure, this is a dense mist, but what about it? Wait, is Hashimoto-san still asleep? Again, no one responded. He's up the hill, right? I'll go check. All right, so this is something that I was saying before. Hashimoto seemed like he knew stuff. It kind of feels like he has always been in on this. Especially since the way he died last time was he was like a mess of meat in the van. So it feels like he's in on this the entire time. Especially if he goes now, and he was suspicious before. Anyway. No point. Kanzushi opened his mouth, taking upon himself to say it. I could already hear some stifled sobbing. It was Haru-chan. Not only was she afraid, she'd also realized that a tragedy had occurred. A tragedy had occurred. What was his age? Like 43? Hashimoto dies at 43 to a roaming prowler or a stray forest wolf. May he be remembered. Now he has to re-roll. Maybe he'll choose a warlock this time. Mamiya-san realized that something was wrong and was about to ask about it when... Big guy's dead. The crude old man just told her what was up.
Dead? What are you...
He's lying near the landslide.
What kind of nonsense is that?
She instantly lost her composure. The unnatural aura around here was suddenly starting to get to her.
Don't mess with me like that. We'll fix our van and leave as soon as possible. I'll go wake him up myself.
Stay where you are.
What do you have to...
Makishima-san? I raised my voice because Kanzushi reached for his gun and...
This has to be a joke. What is this? Am I being punked? Did you burst the tires for this? Oh, ha ha ha. That makes sense.
We still don't know your rules. We still don't know your rules. There's no guarantee that we'll do what you want just because you have a gun. What's your deal? You should stop that, old man. What's gotten into you? You always tell us never to point guns at people. Kanzushi silently lowered the gun.
If it's not a joke, then it's a crime. You're going too far. Stop it right now. I'm leaving this instant.
Mamiya-san, was it? Sorry, but that won't fly. You can't leave until the mist clears. Make a woman cry? That won't fly. And sorry to say this, but your partner's gone. Someone killed him.
Killed? What are you saying? He...
Takumi, take her. Can you handle blood?
You're joking, right?
I'll go with you. He helped me a lot. Alright. You'll have to help me, though. With the cleanup, I assume? With the cleanup, I assume. Alright.
I shall go as well. Miko, you stay here. I'll go too.
Me too. That shit doesn't scare me.
Oh, absurd. He must have tripped or something because of the mist. The place happens to belong to me, so I guess I must see to it. So I must see to it too. How troublesome.
We got so many volunteers that besides the old people of Miko, the only ones who ended up staying were Kaori and Haru-chan, both of whom didn't look so good. Takumi-san led us uphill. Since we went through the fields, some of us fell or got stuck, so we took a whole 10 minutes. Still, we arrived at the scene of the crime. What I saw there was almost exactly the same as what I saw the last time. There was a brutalized corpse. It was close to the prefab next to a waist-tall boulder, which did little to hide the large body. It was thoroughly destroyed. Yeah, once again, his body is destroyed in the same, unrecognizable way, pretty much. So this definitely feels like this is bullshit. The entire frame had been torn apart and bent as if systematically detached, his muscles, insides, and bones from his body. Oh, his skeleton must have escaped. Ah, okay, that's the problem. So if you drink too much milk, your skeleton gets too powerful and rips free of your body. So just remember not to drink your milk, kids, and you'll be fine. The only thing that hinted at who this once was were the scattered pieces of clothing and the impressive amount of flesh. Okay, yeah, so it's definitely not him. Once again, Yudai Hashimoto-san failed to survive the first night. So we went outside last night. As Takumi-san muttered to himself.
What is that?
Mamiya-san finally broke her disbelieving silence with a hysterical scream.
What happened? What happened to Hashimoto-san? How did he end up like... Mamiya-san, please come down. How can I? Why? Why did this happen? This is just... Mamiya-san stopped mid-sentence and began puking.
She'd either screamed herself into vomiting or caught a direct glimpse of the corpse. You're not the only one who wants to scream. Crap. I don't want to die because some old story.
You knew about this?
Huh?
You knew that this would happen? I asked him that while feigning anger and despair.
Can't say I did, but we heard that this happens. Mists come, people die.
Those deaths were caused by accidents.
That's what I thought. I believe the village heads told us too, and look at that, they were lying.
Lying about what? What are you saying that so-called Okami have come back from the dead?
Don't act like you don't know shit. Monsters or gods don't just pop out of nowhere. It's the village heads. They must have sent some beasts here.
Stop it, you two.
Rikaku-san's faint, yet stern voice cut their argument short. She then faced Hashimoto-san's body and lowered herself before it.
It is our duty to give proper treatment to the guests who fail to prepare for the feast. We should, at the very least, let him go to Yomi in peace. I shall take in his corruption.
Rikaku-san then, what are you... Rikaku-san was inching her face closer to the pile of flesh and bone when...
Get away!
Mamiya-san suddenly cut in, stopping her. Hey, what are you doing? Stop!
Don't hold me back!
Her voice and face were borderline demonic. None of us could bring ourselves to stop her. She leapt over the corpse and, ignoring the blood, began shifting through the remains with her hands.
It has to be here!
I suddenly realized what she was doing. I'll help. She didn't respond nor stop me. She completely lost her cool, but that madness was under control. It was clear this wasn't some unreasonable panic. After all, he must have had it. His camera. I began helping her, roughly, searching the body.
Haruki-san, what are you doing?
The camera. He might have taken some photos.
Oh.
This kill was the same as last loop. The body was torn apart with no rhyme or reason. It felt something stiff in my hand. It was hair. I was close to the head. Don't overthink it. His camera must have been on his neck. I could follow this hint, and I felt the cord on my hand.
Okay, well, maybe if they went to that specifics to put the camera around an actual neck, maybe it wasn't fake. Ooh, now I'm second-guessing myself. Where?
It was a thoroughly broken, expensive-looking digital camera. It must have cost a fortune, but Mamiya-san didn't care and just opened it.
Monsters, no way. They don't exist.
She muttered that in delirium, took out its memory card, threw the camera away, and ran off.
Hey, where are you going? Takumi-chan, take care of the rest.
The two disappeared into the mist.
You know anything, Yasun?
Not much, but... Look, the prefab doesn't have a toilet. Oh, so he had to leave to take care of his business? He didn't know how important the preparations were, so this result was obvious. I should have been the one to stay in the prefab. He died because of me. But I couldn't let myself wallow in regret. Rikaku-san, yeah, that was one of the choices from before, saying we would take it, okay. Rikaku-san approached the body again, but Takumi-san put his hand on her shoulder. You don't need to do that.
But...
I don't want to rely on some mysterious village head shit. Don't make me.
Things will just get worse. And you, Yumatsu, always get the short end of the stick, don't you?
Just put your hands together or something. Takumi-san's tone was neither calm nor sympathetic. I had no idea what he meant by short end of the stick. But for some reason, I felt like he was protecting her from something.
Very well.
Rikaku-san did this as she was told and put her hands together before chanting some sort of prayer. Tuh! Yoshigitsu-kun watched her with a scowl.
Rikaku-san.
Kinosuke missed his chance to talk to her, so he was just frozen in place. Yasu, Yoshi, Chikamochi, take everyone and go back, then wash your hands and prepare to eat.
Alright.
Don't order me around!
Let's go, Richan.
The Sato-san, it's time to leave. I don't need you to lead me.
Let's go, Rikaku-san.
Thus, they all left. Sorry about this, Fushashi. Oh, you can count on me for this much.
Don't worry, I leaped into the corpse and played around in it a little bit, so disposing it will be fine.
Takumi-san and I began cleaning up Hashimoto-san's body. We couldn't remove the door, so we carried him on a board to the destroyed construction site. And so, we dropped him into Saranaga. I listened carefully, and I thought I actually heard a splash this time. So there was a bottom after all. Then why had we gotten lost in that last loop? Thinking on that possibility, I parted ways with Takumi-san, then returned to my hut and washed the blood off. I went to the plaza again. The people had gathered around the dining hall. They were handing out food, apparently.
You washed your hands?
Yes, and the rest of my body.
I see. Well done.
Tae-san seemed to be a bit softer on me than before.
You young'uns need to eat. You won't last long if you don't.
True. What about you?
I don't have an appetite right now.
You should eat anyways, if you can manage it. Huh. Giving a vague response, Tae-san looked at the boulder next to us. I followed her gaze and... This is... I saw the blood sign from last time.
Yeah, each represents a wolf returning from Yomi. So since there's 2 marks, it stands to reason there's 2 wolves.
And this time there's 3 marks, huh? Yep. That was what Kemi had told me last time. And now...
There are 3 wolves.
Yeah, there were 3 of those weird diamond whirls. What do you mean?
I'll tell you later.
Very well. See you then. A bit overwhelmed, I walked away. The number of people had increased. I was told there could be 3 wolves at most, and that was exactly what we got this time. Why? What caused this change? There were several differences from last time, but which one of them did it? Probably 3 more people. Whatever it was, I could assume that knowing the roles from last time wasn't much of an advantage. Outside the dining hall, Kanzo-san was sitting on the ground and drinking something from a large bowl. He looked up at me and, "Better eat up," said those curt words before focusing on his bowl again. He didn't trust me, nor did he antagonize me more than necessary. That was pretty reasonable, actually.
Welcome back, Fusashi-san.
Inside the building, I found the students, Yumatsu-san, Miko, Kinosuke-shi, and Kaori-san. Well, there was the old wolf guy too, but he was just staring at an empty bowl in the corner of the room. Sorry I couldn't help.
Oh, don't be. Thank you so much for helping Takumi-san.
I didn't do much. Where's Kemi-san and Mamma Mia?
The journalist said something about looking inside the camera and locked herself up in her room. Shirazawa-sama went to clean the journalist's clothes.
Made sense, but Mia-san was really bloody. Here you go. Kaori-san gave me a bowl, and I took one of the empty seats. Thank you for your work, Fusashi-san. No problem, Yasunaga-kun. You already remembered my name? What an honor. That wasn't enough to hint I was looping, was it? I took a pair of chopsticks and ate up. It was a simple meal of some boiled vegetables and meat.
I'm sorry, it's nothing impressive. These are leftovers from yesterday, but we can't waste anything, as you might imagine.
How much food do we have?
The fridge stopped working, so the milk and meat will go bad soon if you don't have to worry about the rice and vegetables.
Oh, I didn't think about it last time, but at the very least this awful situation didn't come with a food shortage. Perhaps that was the silver lining. So you have no electricity. Any other problems?
I'm worried about the gas. It was almost time to change the cylinder, so if it runs out, should we make bonfires?
Then now and they'll go apeshit.
Chikamochi, watch your language.
Listening to that strangely mundane exchange, I resumed eating. It was actually good. It didn't look like it was, so I felt like I had to close my eyes. Unlike the soup I was given in Kamafuda Yoshi, it was well salted and had a rich taste. The meat had to be the game killed by Kanzo-shi and gutted by Kemi. It didn't reek much as I had a simple flavor. It was probably venison. I consider this revenge for the time they made a fool out of me in the mountains. In terms of the amount of meat and seasoning, the people here seemed to be eating better than Kamafuda Yoshi. Was it just my imagination? After emptying my bowl, I was offered some more and gladly took it. It was best to eat whenever I had the chance. I'm impressed how you quickly got used to the local food, Kinosuke-shi suddenly commented. I thought he was being sarcastic, but his tone didn't seem antagonistic. You're not eating?
I have food at home, honestly. I've lived in this city for so long that the local food seems tasteless to me now.
By local, he probably meant Fujiyoshi as a whole, not just Yasumi.
But I really don't like eating right now.
You should dig in, Uncle. You might not get another chance.
Mochi.
Haru-chan had been completely pale since I had arrived, but she suddenly covered her mouth and ran off to the bathroom. She forced herself to eat what she'd been given, but the stress that left her unable to keep it down.
Chikamochi, you were disinherited because you didn't understand people's feelings. Have you learned nothing?
I don't want to hear that from you. I'll go say sorry.
He went to the bathroom too, leaving the rest of us feeling kind of awkward. What's going to happen now? We will probably have a gathering like the old days and use it to decide who did it. And what then? Don't worry, Fusashi-san. Yasunaga couldn't join the conversation with an unnaturally bright tone. I'm sure it won't be anything unreasonable. Oh, you sound confident. Makes you seem reliable. Maybe. Anyway, don't worry. Was he a wolf this time too? As I frowned and thought to myself, Takumi-san joined us.
Takumi-san.
Kaori-san, get me lots of whatever's up. You alright, Kyo?
Don't call me that.
Oh, Fusashi, you eating it too?
Yeah, thank you for the food, Kaori-san.
Man, you got to eat our food before me? Lucky you. Good stuff, huh?
Yeah, makes me want someone like her as my wife. Not the coughs. Oh my, you flatter me too much.
You, don't tell me you're after.
Huh? What's up with this atmosphere? After playing it off. By the way, Takumi-san. I called Takumi-san in a low voice.
What?
When's the feast?
At 9. Oh man, Kanzu said it.
Alright. It wasn't even an hour before we would begin discussing who to kill. Takumi-san began eating and everyone fell silent. So I went and moved seats. You okay, old man?
No!
It was the same as always. Man, just what we'd do if we had a guardian. This sure is troublesome. I arrive and get caught up in the midst of the very next day. Where in Yasumizu do you live?
Ooh!
This wasn't even a conversation. Sorry, looks like I got in the way of something.
It's safe here.
Excuse me?
This is the most safe place. That's why I'm here.
Safe? You mean the dining hall? No response. We're having a dialogue, or was he just muttering things that made no sense? He was talking about Yasumizu. That couldn't be it. After all, this was the last safe place in Fujiyoshi. The least safe place in Fujiyoshi. I thought that he had a reason why he found it safe, but whatever it was, it couldn't save him from dying last time. In the end, it wasn't safe for him either. Well, the reason why he died last time was because somebody murdered him after they were going to hang him, and Mochi as well. So that was a completely different thing. So that's only when he said he was going to get his things. So I think the old wolf man must have some information that others don't want him to get out. And as long as they don't think he's going to tell anybody, they probably won't try to kill him. Maybe. Anyway, I gotta piss. I'll be right back. Alright, what do we have here, Stormpike? See, that's how they get that's the perfect way to getting flour. All I'm doing is making the Pikmin grow. I'm doing my part of the life cycle. Something seemed off, but I couldn't put my finger on what. I'd somehow lost my right to sit next to him and began searching for a new seat as I waited. The clock seemed to move strangely slow. A chair next to me was pulled a bit. Anyway, where could I sit? Our eyes met. Anyway, where could I sit? I wish to talk to you, Haruki-sama.
She expressed it with words. Anyway, where could I... Don't ignore Rikaku-san! Why are you the one saying that? What do you mean? I know you're new and don't know how to respect, but it's common courtesy to respond to a woman's modest consideration. Oh, not sure if it was modest, but I can't really argue with the rest. So you understand. Wait, are you just messing around? Rikaku-san, you look beautiful today.
Whoa.
There, we're done talking. Anyway, Misato-senpai, how do you manage to play the straight man so naturally?
Oh.
Don't mess around with the village heads.
Oni-chan, you're being weird.
Wow, he made a comedy routine out of these people. Strange guy.
Musashi-san is quite funny.
Kaori-san, look at this face.
It's funny, Takumi-san.
Kinosuke eventually shouted the standard, I'm not staying with someone so inbred, and left. Well, Takumi-san went with him, so I doubted Kinosuke would end unlucky victim number 2, as per horror cliches. It came back to me. During a previous feast of the Yomi Purge, Chikamochi Kamoshida and the old wolf guy had been killed probably by something other than corruption. The suspects from back then who were now around the dining hall were... No. If it meant finding out the truth, I could just leave that. I had to switch gears. Anyway, I sat down next to Rikaku-san, who'd said her horse so many times she'd actually gone limp.
Fusashi-san.
So that was my name now, huh? I gave up on correcting her. Hey, Miko-chan. I'll borrow Oni-chan a bit.
Okay.
Are you going to talk? That want to play with me, Miko-chan?
Yeah.
Yasunaga-kun took Miko with him, giving us a chance to talk.
You are awful.
Hearing that from a beautiful lady like you actually makes me happy. I was actually starting to find these reactions adorable. I could enjoy bullying a cute older woman. This was a rare opportunity, and I appreciated it immensely. Anyway, what is it?
I feel quite guilty.
Huh? Why?
Because I accepted you and the journalists at the worst possible time.
Is that something to feel guilty about? No one can predict when a mist comes.
No, this is all happening because of our Fujiyoshi's original sin.
Original sin?
Yes, the village prospered by killing the servants of God after all.
The ancient story of killing the wolves, huh? I'd like to hear more.
Yamikawa-sama should give an explanation later.
Yamikawa-san will.
Yes, after all, she is Yasumizu's representative.
Representative? Not a landlord, huh?
Yes, everything in Yasumizu belongs to either the village or the family heads, but it still needs a manager.
Divinity 3 original sin.
Wow, they completely took Divinity 3 in a completely different direction.
Yamikawa-sama is a well-adjusted lady, and the oldest of us all, so she possesses discretion. That is the way it is.
I see. So the way it is that, huh? So it's that way, huh? Instead of turning bashful, she actually glared at me this time. This is pretty good, too. That aside, I now knew how it was. The eldest was a representative, and with that, she was in charge of the feast tutorial. I'm calling it a tutorial. It's fucking hilarious. By the way, you seem pretty hung up on our guests. Is there some sort of local culture related to that?
Yes, I heard that. Fujiyoshi was once full of visitors who came to the Shinai Shrine to pray for good hunting. Monsters from the outside were considered honored guests. Hunters from the outside were considered honored guests and treated kindly around here.
That made sense. If the belief itself was the village's main draw, I can understand why this unique religion survived for so long. I wanted to get some certain details, but it didn't seem like something I should ask all alone. So, how was it? You're nice to me because I'm a guest, right?
Huh? No, that's not it.
Or is it because I was there when you got hurt?
That is, yes. Thank you again. But, do I need a reason?
Oh, not at all. I just felt like there was some reason behind it.
What if there was?
I'd be happy, maybe. The adorable woman hung her head down, cheeks reddening. I was the one playing around with her. That actually made me feel kind of bashful. Perhaps I had to be more serious about her feelings. How would I do that, though? Forget it. It wasn't the time for that. I was given an important role, so I had to find a way to keep the others alive.
Shall we go?
Kaori-san's voice prompted everyone to rise from their seats. Then, we wordlessly began to leave the dining hall. It didn't feel like an emergency, but this was the end of our normal everyday life. We already had people at the hall. Kanzo-shi, Takumi-san, Kinosuke-shi, Yoshigitsu-kun, and...
Guys?
Kemi and Mamiya-san were here too. Mamiya-san looked depressed. Her panic attack seemed to have subsided, but that didn't mean she'd come around to all this. Kemi whispered to me that they couldn't read the data they'd picked up, so we had no clues from the camera. The wolf guy, the students, Haru-chan's face was still pale, Kaori-san, Rikaku-san, Miko, and I all went inside. Something strange happened then. As they went in, they hid their faces with both hands and lowered their heads. It was a really weird gesture. I'd actually seen it last time, though. Tei-san had done this while facing a boulder when prayer to Shinai was praying over the speakers. There'd been a strange veil-like thing on her face. Must have been another local custom. For now, I just followed their lead. Everyone sat in a circle, and seeing they were seating in order of age, starting from the far end.
Yamikawa-sama, I will sit next to Miko.
Very well.
It wasn't enforced, though. Fusashi and the journalist should sit at the lower end. All right. I sat down the closest to the exit, and Mamiya-san sat down beside me. Are you okay with this?
I'm not local after all.
Her tone was cold. What's going to happen now? No clue. She was whispering things like, why did this happen? Or this case can't get any worse. And I couldn't see a single trace of the vigor from yesterday.
This is everyone.
Huh. Yamikawa-san entered last and closed the door, plunging the room in the darkness. Mamiya-san gasped, and Miko let out a quiet scream, but that was it. No one here from Yasumizu was shook. Then, there was a click of a switch being turned on, lighting up the bare light bulb above. It's a new scene! And before we do this next big chunk of a discussion, I'm going to get a drink, so I'll be right back. It's just like Smash Bros. This time. Everybody's here. Well, except for the original guy who died. The lighting was poor, making everyone's illuminated faces stand out more. It felt unnatural. Like a whole other world.
Everyone seated then? Let's begin the feast of the Yomi Purge.
And so it began. Urged by Yamikawa-san, Rikaku-san, as though undertaking her implications, went deeper into the room. And, after a bit of messing around, returned to us without tripping. In her hand, she held a labelless bottle.
This is divine sake, presented to Shinai-sama. Please drink it, starting from the guests.
Rikaku-san sat down to Mamiya-san and gave her an aged sake cup.
Do I have to? Yes, it wards off the corruption.
Mamiya-san didn't reply, but still took it. Rikaku-san then filled it with sake. Okay, so this would be an actual interesting thing to do. This is supposed to ward off the corruption. However, if it was magical, the corruption would be able to tell if you didn't drink the sake and would just kill you using its powers. However, if you're in a room where only everybody in here knows, or maybe you could secretly break the rules, and then if the corruption doesn't come for you, then that means that maybe it is not magical and that there's something that has to notice you break the rules to come for you. Is everyone drinking this? Drink as much as you want. We have a lot of sake. The Saku-san glared at the cup, smelled it, and then just drank it all down. She sure looked like she could hold her liquor. It's normal good quality sake. It smells fruity, like ginjo. Impressed by professionalism, I drew the cup from her. Can you drink, Haruki-sama? Bring it on. With a lighthearted reply, I let her fill the cup. Then drank it all. Yeah, it was actually pretty good. It seemed like a luxury, even. I had no idea how much the poor sediment got their hands on. It didn't seem like I could ask for more, so I just gave the cup to Miko. Rikaku-san gestured for her to just pretend to drink. Same for the students. The sake went through several people without anyone drinking. Okay, yeah, I guess it's just pretending counts. You don't actually have to drink it. So what the hell does the sake even matter to any of this then? Besides, just being part of the ritual. Like, you can just kind of break this. Well, the way the corruption works is if you break the corruption's rules, it just kills you. So that's why I'm thinking either it's magical that just kills you like it's supposed to, or it's literally like if this is a mundane and like the city, like there's people orchestrating this, that means somebody would have to from the outside know you broke the rules and then kill you with the corruption. Because I'm still bouncing between is it real or is it magical or is it mundane? Now it's all adults. Here I go. And Kemi emptied it the moment she got it. Rikaku-san, who would be sitting next to her if it wasn't for Miko, then took a sip herself, followed by Kaori-san, and Kinosuke finally emptied that was left. Takumi-san drank 2 full cups, saying, "Some feast, huh? You get to drink sake during the day." Then the elders each emptied a cup. That was everyone, so Rikaku-san took the bottle and cup and returned to her place. Yeah, they make you blow into the thing. Alright, blow into this the breathalyzer. Ah, shit. It's not above 0. Alright, well, you die. We done? Teba, talk. We have people who don't know the story. You should start from the beginning.
That's true. Well, let me tell you about it.
Finally.
Shinai-sama is the god of the mountain. Long ago, when this village was made, Shinai-sama's first guardian were the wolves, Okami-sama. The wolves protected the other guardians, the snake, monkey, crow, and spider from the Yamabito. What's a Yamabito? People who died and came back. Scary.
It's fine. I am with you.
In Kamafujiyoshi, the Okami-sama are still worshipped with great Lord Shinai, even more revered than the other guardians. But here in Nazimizu, we have a different story. The Okami-sama did protect humans, but also ate them. The Okami-sama also forbade fire. That's why the people sought help from the snake, monkey, crow, and spider, and tricked the Okami-sama.
Rikaku-san had called it Yasumizu's original sin. Last time, Kemi was the one to tell me. Everyone living here knew it, surely. And since Kinosuke and Rikaku-san knew it, the village heads knew it as well. Kamafujiyoshi's people, though, just continued to revere the Okami-sama, the wolves.
The people held a feast and gave the Okami-sama lots of sake. The other guardians helped push the snake on the Okami-sama, and so the Okami-sama got very drunk.
The other guardians helped push the sake, not the snake, the sake on the Okami-sama and got him very drunk. Fire is bad. Damn, them fighting words.
Eventually, when the Okami-sama fell asleep, the people took the Okami-sama and threw him into the Saranaga. Fujiyoshi then prospered more than ever before. But every now and then, the Okami-sama would rise from Yomi and eat people again. The Okami-sama can pretend to be human, so the humans must find them and hang them and slay them all. However, they could only hang one a day. That was one of Shinai Sama's rules. They gathered like this and decided which one to slay. They called it the Feast of the Yomi Purge. This evening mist is the sign of the Okami-sama's arrival, so everyone prepares. Take a bath, hole up in a house, and sleep well. That, too, is one of Shinai-sama's laws. Those who don't do it to receive the corruption, Shinai-sama's divine punishment. Young lady, can you please stop writing?
Mamiya-san was taking notes. She gently put away her notepad, and I couldn't read her expression at all.
I'll explain everything you don't understand. Now, on the day of evening mist, Shinai-sama brought the corruption, and the Okiba was marked with 3 symbols of the Amatsu Okami-sama.
Sorry, but what is an Okiba? The stones you can find around Yasumizu. They seem to have been placed there by people, but no one really knows where they came from. Yasumizu's people believe they should be respected.
I heard that. Before the watering hole was created, the fires were lit atop the stones, so Okiba might mean place for kindling.
That seemed like a weird idea to me, but I kept listening.
Yasumizu is poor, you see. The soil is bad, and we get no sunlight. There are many wild beasts, but hunting them is always a matter of life and death. But because of the Okiba, we believe this place is special.
I see. So what was that about symbols? Those diamonds with whorls in them, right?
Yes, there are 3 of them, so there are 3 wolves.
How do you know that? This is a daily thing here.
We have a mountain festivals around here. Every year the Migurama dress up as guardians and walk around the village. The number of wolves is announced in a similar way.
That matched what Kemi had told me in the last loop, down to the part that there was a maximum of 3 wolves. Why 3?
Because it's 2 parents and a child.
I myself had already imagined something like that, and it turned out I was around the mark. It didn't seem all that important, though. After all, the wolves didn't have that manner of blood relationship last time.
I can hardly believe it happened too. But now that it did, the people of Yasumizu must hang the Okami-sama. That is the reason why the village heads are so kind to us. It's our mission.
Yoshigizu can click his tongue, and Yasunaga can calm them down. Takumi-san furrowed his brow as expected. The village heads. Kind to Yasumizu inhabitants? The exact opposite was true, and many seemed to reject her words. However, she got the story across, and since no one pointed out any problems, it was probably completely right.
Fujiyoshi as a whole depends heavily on Yasumizu, so
I also came to understand those words. Yasumizu existed to be the first line of defense if the wolves returned. The people here weren't some venerable soldiers, though. They were more like sacrifices. In the Shinai's faith, Saranaga was the entrance to Yomi, so by letting someone live nearby, they could stop the resurrected wolves via the feast. In Yamikawa-san's story, this duty was something that Kama Fujiyoshi's family had rewarded in some way. This wasn't the time to focus on the minor inconsistencies, though. There was something more important. I had to listen and see how accurate the rules she presented would be. Keeping my mouth shut, I waited until she had gone over everything regarding the rules. Then I considered it all. We had among us 3 wolves, a snake, 2 monkeys, a crow, and a spider. The snake could write down the name of a still living person and place it by their pillow before bed to find out what they were. The monkeys, upon receiving their guardians, would be informed about who the other monkey was. The crow would wake up and find out whether the person lynched the day before was a wolf or a human. The spider could write down the name of a still living person and place it on their pillow before bed to protect them from the wolves. The powers of these guardians were given out with no regard for the blood of the families they were supposedly protecting. Their powers would be used to discuss and lynch someone each day. There were 3 wolves. They would brutalize one of the humans every night. The wolves had to be purged before they killed all the humans. If you broke the rules, the god of the mountains would bring forth the corruption, the supernatural death upon you. Once the explanation was over, the room was filled with sounds of discussion, but there was still something I had to confirm. I opened my mouth.
Hold on, Teba. There's something I don't understand.
But Yasunaga-kun was faster.
What is it?
You said that the wolves only kill one person a night.
Yes.
But why?
It's in Ai-sama's court. Even the Yamatsu Yokama-sama must do what he says.
Why do you give them that rule? And why do they obey it?
It's not for us to fathom.
Another thing, if the wolves go for the spider's target, can they go for anyone else once they realize they failed?
They can't. I was told that if the spider stops the wolves, the humans sleep in peace that night.
How do you know that?
My grandmother told me a long time ago.
You haven't participated in the feast before, have you?
His strong tone made everyone freeze. Yazu, what's up with you?
If there are feasts every time there's a mist, someone here must have been in one, right? So as far as I know, we had a mist just 8 years ago, and...
Okay, so this is actually pretty interesting. So last time he was a wolf, he didn't ask questions. This time he's not a wolf, so he's asking lots of questions. Or at least I'm assuming he might not be, which is why he's asking a bunch of questions, trying to get the things that we kind of, got leaked out later when people slowly were pacing it together. So either that or he's just a wolf now, really, really, really trying to find out more rules. Because I don't think he asked this quick last time either. I think it took a while before them to even suggest there might have been someone still around.
Nichan, stop!
Haruchan raised her voice and attracted everyone's attention.
Stop! I don't want to remember! But Haruchan...
I'll ask later, Yasu. My son and wife died back then. Don't make Haru hear about it.
Oji-chan...
Oh, so that's how it was. Did you see the aftermath of the landslide up hill? It's been like that ever since the Nasacho got to work on the place 8 years ago when it collapsed. It was all coming together. The landslide and Haruchan's parents. Deaths both happened 8 years ago, when there was mist.
I wasn't in Yasumizu back then. Did you forget? I helped around the Kamafujiyoshi school you children were staying at. It's my first time. The feast probably happened while we were away. But my grandmother might have been in one herself.
I see.
Yasunaga-kun backed down, but didn't seem all that convinced. I also had questions about the rules of the feast that could be passed down, particularly through nothing but word of mouth. After all, rejecting those rules meant death. What if there was gaps in what had been told? Those who never heard of these rules and participated in the feast wouldn't have a clue. From what I knew, Taesan didn't mention 3 important rules just now. The wolves also couldn't kill more than one person. If the spider successfully stopped the wolves, they couldn't choose any other sacrifices for the night. And the guardians were written in blood, and you couldn't show yours to anyone. The first 2 were pointed out by Yasunaga-kun. The last one, the thing I had heard from Kanzo-san, wasn't mentioned yet. I wasn't too confident in this method of conveying the rules. If this was the way they'd been passed down over the course of the feast's long history, it seemed to me that vital information could have been left out of it like this, resulting in everyone dying through unintended rule breaking long ago. That would have ended a tradition, and the fact that it hadn't happened meant there might be other ways of conveying information. In particular, they hadn't mentioned anything about the way the guardians were given. Leaving out the part about how they revealed through blood text seemed particularly risky. After all, it was possible that you could sleep in and someone could come in and see it without realizing it, or you could roll around in a bad way and rub it out. Well, if they said it, there was some supernatural blood that didn't fade so easily? I had no idea what to make of that. There was also the possibility that you could walk around with the text on your stomach without realizing it was there. It took Kanzo-san pointing it out for me to go back and check it. I'd have liked to ask more about it, but that was the same as telling the wolves I had a guardian. What a predicament. But it didn't seem like I had any time to think about it.
Enough of that. We drink, listen to the hag, and pick someone to kill, right? And how the fuck do we do that, huh?
A reasonable question.
If the story is true, it means that some of us are already dead and replaced, doesn't it?
Oh no.
Like hell that's true. The Kumi-san had no patience for such superstitions. This is all the village head's fault anyway. They want to have some of us offered in the mist to dampen our spirits.
Morale, who do you think they are?
Rotten brain scumbags who are behind the times. Don't act like you can deny that.
But what do you do to kill a person that way?
I don't know. It don't matter, Takumi. The wolves will kill us if all sit back and do nothing. We gotta hang them in the feast. No other way.
Oh man. Saying that at this point was pretty much an admission that he'd been in a feast before. However, his sternness made it hard for anyone to point that out. And having experienced a feast or two before was actually an advantage in the situation, anyways. After all, everyone will want the benefit of his knowledge and experience.
Kachan, how do we decide who to hang?
Yamakawa-san's question made everyone look at Kanzo-san's face. You could tell how much they trusted him. Old man.
Oji-san.
Hey, you there. Fusashi, right?
Me? Yeah?
Can you die?
What? My mind came to a halt for a moment, and I couldn't find how to respond.
Yamatsu, pour him some more.
Makashima-sama.
Just do it.
Rikaku-san argued no further, and brought me the cup and the sake.
You should not drink.
It's fine, I will. I took the cup and filled it up. What do you mean? I drank it all down, then looked over everyone's faces. They lowered their gazes and looked away. Adults, children, elders, even Kemi. No one besides Kanzo looked into my eyes. I could see how it was.
Someone's gotta die. We both decide who. The wolves will win if we don't. We can't waste a day. But no one's wreaking a wolf right now. We'll know more if one dies.
I understand now. He wanted to start off by unmasking the crow. My death at the tree would be a chance for him to show themselves, since they know for certain whether I was human or wolf. Kanzo-san really didn't know the feast worked. He understood that victory depended on those of the Guardians. And since I was new here, I was easy to sacrifice. It preserved the group's unity with mental health. I could tell that they would tolerate me being the one to hang. However, I couldn't let that slide. My current objective was to survive and escape. Not to mention, I was the snake. My death would be really bad for the humans. However,
you came here to die, didn't you? Die for us, will you?
What a good scenario. If I said I didn't want to die anymore, they probably wouldn't suspect me. But it wouldn't be good in the long run. If they saw me as pathetic, I'd lose popularity and my word would start to mean less. The settlement was in danger. Kanzo-shi was trying to take control of the situation, and everyone was okay with it. If my words started meaning less to them, it'd be at a disadvantage, creating a situation where I, like the outsider I was, could be killed easily. My only option was to express that I was a person who shouldn't die, but in a roundabout way of doing it. However, that could make me look dangerous and make it more likely for them to see me as a wolf.
Pour some more.
But, please do. Oh, so another reason he was making me drink was to get me drunk, making me less resistant to being hanged. All thought out. I couldn't get drunk from this though. What a predicament. I had no choice but to man up.
Wait, what are you about to say?
Isako Mamiya cut me off. This wasn't too bad, so I shut up and let her talk.
I can't just keep quiet and listen to you all. Are you all actually okay with that? If so, I can't play along.
Mamiya-san.
I don't think this is weird. The tires burst. The next day we're caught up in something like this. At first I thought it was too old-fashioned, even for you people. But now I actually believe this is some custom where you abduct and kill outsiders.
That's wrong. No, that's wrong.
Takumi-san's expression changed as he cut her off.
I see your point, but that's accidental. Everyone here feels for you.
But from what you said about Fusashi-kun, I'd be the one going next, wouldn't I?
No, you wouldn't. The only one saying that is old man Kanzo.
Takumi.
Listen, this ain't the way to do this. We should talk about who's shadier than the rest.
No one is. We all reek the same. Talking ain't gonna help.
We all reek, even me? Why?
I don't matter in the feast.
The old yet robust man stood and spoke aloud.
There are monsters among us.
Sus. I don't have my soundboard up, so you know what? It just womp 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 womp. Sound Among Us sound effect intensifies.
They don't look like it now, but they'll kill us at night. That's the feast of the young purge. You won't win with emotions.
Ha! Monsters? Old age getting to you, huh? Jikitsu, please stop. You believe in monsters, hag? I don't.
There's also the issue of the guy who put nails in the woman's tires. Someone put them there? There hasn't been any construction recently, right? People here barely have money for nails. Gotta be on purpose. Are you saying the village heads are responsible? Who else? They want to see people die, so they drag the outsiders into it.
Huh. Seems likely.
Preposterous. They're too busy for that.
Youngin', you were sent by Higuchi, right? Now, this was bad. He told you anything?
Takumi-san, Yoshigitsu-kun, even Mamiya-san stared at me.
Well, Fusashi?
They now thought I could have been sent here by the village head as an agent of theirs. That was a really good script. Especially since I was actually the one who burst those tires.
Stop! I can't listen to this. Those are all just assumptions. What if you're wrong? Don't tell me it'll be okay just because the mountain will forgive us or something.
I don't care about forgiveness. We'll hang the wolves and protect Yasumizu. Not gonna ask Fusashi anymore. And I ain't planning on arming the journalist. But nothing will change if no one dies, and I don't sleep right if I hang a woman or child. That's all I'm asking for.
Then hang me instead.
Well, that was unexpected. Everyone stared at the stern-faced Kemi.
Yasumizu's about to unfairly kill a new neighbor. Is that what it's supposed to be like? If so, then I hate it. If you needed death, then kill me. Consider it atonement for all the trouble I caused.
JD, what are you saying?
Yasukun and I went through about which one of us I should. I just went and thought about which one of us I would prefer to die. And when Kanjo-ji-chan targeted Haruki-san for a moment, I actually thought that seemed fine. I can't forgive that part of me, that Yasumizu has made me. So if you need someone to die, then kill me. Kanzo-ji-chan.
V-chan, stop that.
Yeah, I mean, there are other people who can take his place.
He didn't respond. His face was a total blank. No, he actually seemed slightly vexed.
It is just as Sarazawa-sama says. If we seek a meaningless death from a guest, we cannot fault Mamiya-sama for suspecting us the way she did.
Then you do it. You're a fucking family head anyway.
Fine by me.
What are you saying? She's the last of the Uematsu, the protectors of dreams. How can you even suggest that?
Shut up, you scrawny fuck.
It is true that I have no guardian and would simply get in everyone's way. But I am concerned about this girl. Ba?
Using a brat to beg for your life, huh?
Yoshigitsu, shut up already.
And you stop playing the good guy. It's their fault that moms.
This has nothing.
Nothing.
Slapping on the correct voice.
This has nothing to do with Yubatsu-san. And stop troubling Bob already.
Yasunaga, Yoshigitsu.
I was at my limit. I thought Kanjo-san's idea was reasonable. It was possible he too was being swayed by antagonism towards the village heads. If they moved based on that, or just some sort of hatred, everyone would just become more emotional. People became wolves without any regard for bonds and relationships. I knew that well. That was why I couldn't let the feast take that turn and become heavily controlled by the outside factors. There was also the fact that I wasn't about to just accept death. Then, could I let the volunteers die instead? I wasn't fond of that idea. Excuse me.
Laba Bucky.
I might have underestimated the feast of the Yomi Purge. I couldn't control all of it. There were too many wills clashing from too many people. Surprised by Yasunaga-kun's words, I felt silent and shot him a sidelong glance.
Yasunaga-kun, you...
My guardian is the Bucky, and I don't like it one bit. The mountain sure works in mysterious ways, huh, Mom? You serious? I am, Yoshigitsu. Kazu-san, I do believe that we must eliminate the wolves. But if we hang someone based on what happens outside the feast, we'll have major trouble in the future. There's still other things we can do. I am a monkey. As such, I want the other monkey to present itself.
Wait, Yasukun. Guardians are too precious to reveal just like that.
No, Tepasa. The monkeys are the only ones that should be revealed. You understand, Haru-chan?
Sorry, not at all.
There are two monkeys, but they don't have any special powers. They're just monkeys. That means they're not much of a menace to the wolves. Revealing them instantly removes two suspects, making it easier to find the wolves.
Oh, yeah. They're just people, so they're safe?
Now, please show yourself.
This was a trap. The monkeys knew who the other monkey was.
He didn't have to ask them to name themselves. He could just point them out. He also emphasized that being a monkey meant you were no longer a suspect. He wanted to set a trap for any wolves who didn't have a good grasp of the situation. If a wolf tried to pretend to be a monkey, Yasunagi-kun and the other monkey would point it out, lending to the faker being hanged. Even if it didn't work, like he said, exposing the monkeys was a good way to get rid of two suspects. Everyone who knew how the monkey worked would understand this, but as things were, it wasn't unlikely that a wolf could fall for it. It was a simple, creative idea with no risks involved. And now that he'd come out as a monkey, he was confirmed to be human. That made me more relieved than anyone else. Actually, that shouldn't make you more relieved, because that means you have no idea who could be the wolves this time. And there's more. This meant that he, the one who had a flawless victory as a wolf last loop, wouldn't be an enemy this time. I already knew that the Guardian assignments were completely different than last time, but it was still a nice thought. However, that idea was quickly flipped around.
Yasu, don't go acting big on your own.
Big?
Monkeys can reveal themselves? How many of y'all agree with that?
The only ones who raised their hands was Chikamochi, Kamasada, Kiyono. See, this is why I don't understand why they just fucking start throwing both their names in here, considering they always go with like their last names anyway. So it's like, this is like, okay, why are you throwing the whole goddamn name in here? Like Chikamochi, Kyunosuke, Nasato, Kemi, Hisako, and Haru. Like, if you just said that, I would know a bit more what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, I guess Mamiya-san, I know her by her... God, I'm even adding san at the end of these now. Mamiya, I know by her first name more than her last name, then. Because I assume they're doing the last name first name? No, Kemi's, that would be her first name. So no, they're all listing their first names first. Okay. So we know Mamiya by her last name. And Haru by her first name. Interesting. It's weird how like some people I know more by their first and last, and they keep like swapping around the, like sometimes they use the honorifics, sometimes they use their entire names and not like sticking to one that you just know over and over again. Anyway, I was kind of timid about it. Yasunagi-kun decided that was 6 people, a minority in the 15 here.
You're acting big when no one understands a thing. You're blabbering on while making yourself look right. That's what wolves do.
Everyone suddenly stared at Yasunagi-kun with pointed glares.
Hold on, are you saying that Yasunaga's a wolf? He ain't wrong. You can't fake a monkey. He ain't a wolf. He's what he's saying he is. But don't go off with telling everyone how it is. The rest of us clever as ya.
Let me explain it again.
Huh.
Okay, so I'm thinking the old man is a wolf this time. Because he's instantly trying to hang somebody who's not a wolf. He now wants the guy who has a firm grasp of the rules to explain himself. Because if he explains himself and now the other wolves know that trying to fake being a monkey is a trap, they might expose themselves. So the old guy kind of feels like he's a wolf this time. Because not only is he just trying to knock somebody off right away, but he's also now trying to be like, hey, I see what you're doing. Stop being smart. Fuck you. Yasunagi-kun then borrowed Mochi's help to thoroughly demonstrate how 2 groups of monkeys would work. They showed how easy it would be to find out that Mochi, who was playing the part of the wolf, was a faker. Yeah, exactly. They did exactly what he was hoping. To stop the other wolves from falling into a trap.
So, yeah, if you play the monkey, you won't last long. So it's better to just not. Liars get the rope. Yeah.
Okay, when he closes his eye, okay, hold up. When he closes his eye.
So yeah, if you play the monkey, it won't last long. So it's better to just not. Liars get the rope. Yeah.
Just pirate voice. I see. Now I understand. Are there any of us who still don't get it? This time, no one raised their hands. Huh. Can we remove the old man and little girl? I'm not sure they understand.
No.
Kazuo-san shot her suggestion down, and since no one came to support her, she quickly gave up. Her worries were very reasonable. The feast, however, wasn't.
even if someone didn't understand their own roles. Okay. That, to me, that's funny because, like I said, when I played the normal version of One Night Ultimate Werewolf with actual people, I literally had a person on the team who just had no idea how the rules worked, no matter how many times we explained it to them, and gave away the correct answer. So honestly, the more people are just don't know the rules, the better for the feast. like nope, we're not gonna explain shit. Fuck you. Or just lie. Just lie about what the rules are, so the person who's supposed to win just gets lost, and you're like, got him. The wolf goes, well, I'm a wolf. What's my role? Hang them. VC for sure has the actual. She was one of the people I played with, and she has the actual game and everything. So if we ever get together again, we can always give it a shot again and see how it works. Also, don't trust VC for sure. She 100% will sabotage out of spite. Even if some people didn't understand their own roles, the wolves had to die, or there would be no future for the humans. That was the feast of the Yomi Purge. Pizza sounds good. If they had guardians, their powers might be wasted, and if they were wolves, they had to be killed. I was pretty sure... calling out my own chatters. I was pretty sure that the people of Yasumizu, at least, were certain that that was how it would go. Everyone gets it. Now what, Yasu? The other Buckies, please name yourself. No one said anything, which meant that, apparently, the other monkey doesn't understand anything. That was a natural conclusion. However, no. Why aren't you saying anything, Kazo-san? What? Oh man, you're a monkey? Really? What a relief.
Kanchan's human. How promising.
They seemed genuinely relieved. You could tell by the sighs and whispers. It was true that was a good that he was a wolf, that he wasn't a wolf. If he was and continued to take charge of the feast like he was, he could have probably killed everyone more easily than Yasunaga-kun. Okay, or he's either calling him a monkey so the other monkey knows, he's just making shit up. Which would be funny. And Kanzo-san's like, wait, I'm a wolf, and he's calling me a monkey, and no one else is saying anything. Well, I guess I'm kind of safe, maybe. It could just be like, all right, well then you're the monkey, yeah, right. You right? Hey, say you are. Come on, Kanzo, say you're the monkey. Do it so the other monkey, who I know who the monkey is, can call you a liar. This could be a good way of trying to get him to out himself. Why didn't you name yourself? However, not everything about this was perfect. Yasunaga-kun had forced Kanzo-san to reveal his guardian against his will, which was probably his way of taking the lead. One of them knew how to use his guardian's power, the other didn't. Revealing that made Yasunaga-kun seem more reliable. However, if you ask me, I couldn't believe you until you pointed me out yourself. That's just absurd. Watch what you're doing. Yasunaga-kun's first step went over the heads of most of the present, and Kanzo-san had used that against him. He had the makings of a leader, and by scolding Yasunaga-kun for his hastiness, he made it clear that the chain of command was here. Or, okay, here's another idea. A wolf can tell another wolf, hey, we're both monkeys, right? And then you have two other people who are the monkeys who are like, wait a minute, what the fuck's going on here? So suddenly they'd be like, all right, well, which one of us four is the real monkeys? Either me and you are wolves, or we're both the monkeys, or you're a wolf and you're a monkey. So yeah, come on here. Although I guess if they got it right on the first 50-50 guess and they chose somebody who was a wolf, then they're like, all right, well, the next one obviously is. So that can knock out two in a row. So that's a very risky gamble then. So yeah, let's not do that. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a barrel, and everybody needs to link their arms, and we're going to see how many we can link together. If you can link your arms, you are a monkey. If you fail, damn, wrong game. Sorry about that.
That also meant the Yasunagakun's plan to help me was negated, leaving me in the same danger as before. I had to act now.
Excuse me, can I finally talk?
I went and asked Kanzu-san, taking out of turn, they just made me look like a bad guy. Huh? I don't want to die yet. It's not like my life's precious to me. I just think I can be more useful to you alive than dead. Huh? Makishima-san, this morning you told me that the guardians appear on the stomach. Does everyone else know this? I watched everyone's reactions. They just made a little bit of noise.
I forgot to say it. It's said that the guardian marks appear on the body. I think everyone from Yasumizu looked at themselves this morning. If you found a mark, you can't show it to anyone.
We have to hide it?
No, you can wash it off.
I see. So outsiders like Hisako-san and Miko-chan might not have known about this.
I told Miko about it. No need to worry.
Okay then, what about you, Mamiya-san?
I didn't look. First I've heard about this.
So it's possible that Mamiya-san has a guardian, but it just doesn't know it? By the way, can we pause the feast? We ain't leaving until we decide who to hang. I see.
So Mamiya-san will have to check if she has a guardian before tomorrow's feast, and should be left alive until then, right?
Huh.
And if I had a guardian, you couldn't hang me, but if I didn't, you could. That's why you asked me the question this morning, right?
Shaw your stomach?
Huh? The guardian show on the stomach. And since you apparently concluded that I didn't have a guardian, you decided to hang me, right? Surprisingly, Kanzo-san grinned.
You got a good head and tongue, I see.
Kanzo-ji-chan, you're being too cruel. It's fine, Kemi-chan. I understand my position and knew this was how it would go. As a human, I don't plan to lie to survive. But I want just one more day. I'll use it to think of ways to help the humans, win, and find useful information. I'll present it to you by tomorrow. If it's no good, you can hang me down. I didn't mention that I had a guardian, or whether the info I would present was based around guardian powers or simple strategy. I was weasel wording like mad. However, it was important to express some sort of self-sacrificial spirit in the situation. Haruki-san, the effect was the same as when Kemi did it. Not everyone here agreed that someone should die for the others, but this was a situation where everyone's lives were in danger, and here I was, showing acceptance of my position. Everyone here could tell it wasn't something a wolf would do. The wolves were more likely to hide among the silent ones, not the ones who told the others to kill them. If everyone agrees with his words, the one we hang should be anyone besides the monkeys. Kazu-san, I, Fuzashi-san, or Mamiya-san. No one objected.
Do that then.
I was in for a hell of a time on tomorrow's feast. However, the day I bought should have been enough to open a path for me. Who do we go for then? Why not just take out the village heads?
Yoshikitsu, shut up.
Takumi-ni, why don't you you don't like them either, do ya?
If you hang someone because you don't like them, then you're the same as them, damn it. Yoshikitsu-kun complained a bit, but then fell silent. He probably understood his point.
Now Yoshigitsu-kun could also be a wolf himself, because he just wants to kill the village heads, which means none of the village heads might be wolves if he was a wolf. So he could just be using his obvious "I hate them," so we should just kill them to hide himself. I have a suggestion.
Say it, Nasato.
This isn't getting us anywhere. We should choose someone by popular vote. Don't you agree, Sir Makishima?
Huh? What the hell? That's insane. I ain't choosing like that.
It's not insane. You have any other way to get the consensus of so many people?
We can talk about it if we decide then.
Takumi-chan, I understand how you feel, but can we really kill by popular vote?
Ni-chan, what do you think? I agree with this, Sato-san.
You too?
That works.
Everyone was stunned that we accepted Kinosuke-shi's proposal.
Urimatsu, got something to write on?
I'm sure we do.
But eventually, everyone agreed to it. They must have understood that this was how it had to go. Yeah, why doesn't no one want to kill the village tails? Everyone's always yammering on about the village heads. Fuck that. Always choose tail. There was a place for storage deeper inside the hall. It was probably where the sake and cup were kept. The inkstone cask they kept there had fresh paper inside, and by Kanzo-san's command, Rikaku-san began writing down what she had to. Fusashi-kun? Yes?
They prepared sake and writing tools. This means that someone knew this would happen, right?
Yeah. The paper doesn't seem decades old either, and the water isn't rotten.
Does that mean this whole thing was just set up by humans?
This building is a shrine to the Great Lord Shinai. 2 times a year, during the mountain festivals, the 4 head families of Kama Fujiyoshi present various offerings. Divine sake, writing tools, ropes, sickles. I was told these items had been kept here for a long time.
That means they weren't just for this time. But the head family still knew that they would be used, right?
I know nothing of that.
I've been married to the Kuguchi family for almost a year, but I never heard of that. Oh, I never mentioned that, did I?
So that's how it was.
Well, I was the same situation myself for a while, but I never heard anything about that.
Who'd tell you? Of all people, no one would want to share their secrets with you.
I don't want to hear that from you, Uncle.
Sounds complicated.
Also, did not know that the things here would be used. There might be something that only the Meguruma know, or perhaps only a select few of village heads.
You lying bitch! You're the head of the Urimatsu!
Yoshibu, she's right.
What? You want to go, old fart?
Yoshi, cool off.
You too, Takumi Nishan. Chicken shit.
Old man, I can't say I don't understand him. Mamiya has a point. This means the heads have acted nice and tributed the stuff, knowing this would happen to us. The Urimatsu, you sure don't know anything? You can just say it. It'll all make sense then.
I merely had a feeling that God would soon rise again.
Sudden, loud noises. They were caused by Kemi and Haru-chan.
No way. But, no, really? God is... Ah! Wait, how do I do the Valley Girl laugh? What?
Haru! The sudden burst of happenings was too much for me to keep up with. Haru Makishima suddenly started laughing out loud. Kanzushi's face paled right before he ran over to her. Everyone else just stared at them, dumbfounded.
Haruni, again? Weren't you cured?
Haru-chan, hang in there. Out of the way, Chikamochi. Crap, Nasato, you know anything?
See, didn't I already tell you before that mental illnesses cannot be treated in a place like this?
Don't touch my granddaughter.
Menacing and pushing everyone away, Kanzo-san embraced Haru-chan tight.
Haru, calm down, I'm here.
I had no idea what was happening. God was sort of like a keyword. No idea why, but last time it had a profound effect on Kemi. It worked on Haru-chan too?
What did you hear?
It actually happened before. Was it different from the Okami-sama and Shinai-sama? Okami. Wolf. Come to think of it, in addition to wolf, Okami could also mean great god. Was that significant?
The wolf is coming!
Not now, you old fart.
Takumi-san, no violence. Thus I offer homage to Shinai the Almighty, so peace may come to pass. Thus I offer homage to Shinai the Almighty, so peace would come to pass. Okay, if this was Granny, if Granny here was a hillbilly, she would have this solved almost instantly. She would just wrestle the wolves. She would be unable to be beaten. Also, imagine the tonic she could make. Like, goddamn. Yeah, everyone just goes apeshit.
Man, things are getting out of hand. Still, Haruchan eventually calmed down and, albeit still delirious, began talking normally.
What? Did I collapse? Anemia?
Keep it together.
Oji-chan!
By the way, Kemi too had long since recovered, and she was now acting like nothing had happened. Why were they so ready to accept that feast itself, when they freaked out like normal people over their own family and fellow villagers acting so weird? I could understand being scared of monsters. And curses too, for that matter. But they also had the insanity to hang their own mothers and accept being hanged by the ones they loved. It was something straight out of hell. Just how many times would I have to see this kind of thing before I understood it all?
I am done writing.
We'll get back to it in a moment.
The climax was drawing near. Rikaku-san had written the last of all the people participating in the feast on the Yomi Purge. The penmanship was nice, and the order was proper. It felt kind of like a petition or something.
We'll vote starting from the end. Yurimatsu, you record who's voting for who. Kemi, Yasunaga, you check if she's doing it right.
Alright.
Yeah, okay.
We will not vote for Mamiya-sama and Fusashi-sama, correct?
That's what I'll do, but you decide on your own.
That sounds fair to me. We should think about what they said and decide whether we agree by ourselves. That's democracy.
Danko, you're kissing Haru-chan Grandpappy's ass now.
I'm simply saying what I think is true. Let us begin.
Is this how you act when you're about to choose who to kill? The wolves must hang.
This is wrong. It's a real crime. Misako-san was very normal. I liked that. However, I didn't think it would help her survive for long.
Who you choosing, old fart?
Ah! Ah! I had no idea if he understood the situation, but he did point at someone. Specifically, me. Huh?
You wolf!
Rikaku-san, one vote for him.
Yes. This really is wrong. Why does everyone vote have to be the same value?
If you don't get it, then shut up.
What is it that I said I don't get? Tell me. Mamiya-san, everyone must have the same voting power. I mean, if there was a way to remove it, the wolves could use it too. If you could use reasoning to remove someone's vote, that would be another thing for them to take advantage of, and probably work against you as well.
After all, we probably have a number of people here to think that outsiders shouldn't vote.
Kemi grumbled, while still some others have disgruntled frowns. I know it's unfair to you, but in order to protect Yasumizu from all this, we can't avoid putting our lives on the line. You want to survive? Sure. But that's the attitude of a wolf. A human must not be against getting hanged, unless you have a guardian anyway.
I'll check right after this is over.
Good. Next.
Urimatsu, I'm voting for you.
So that was the choice, huh?
Do you have a reason for that?
Not really.
Huh? It's not that weird, is it? Kazu-san thinks that everyone's suspicious, but also believes that we must sacrifice someone. If it can't go for Fusashi-san or Mamiya-san, there's ones that easiest to hang here are Urimatsu or you, Natsu-san.
You're also... I understand.
I accept the vote. Oh man, Bachan, you're next.
I don't really get it, but if Ka-chan ain't voting for the outsider, then I'll do the same. And Kan-chan and Nasu-kun aren't wolves, right?
That's safe to believe.
Then I'll vote for Yoshi-kun.
Huh? You damn hag, why?
You're so violent and don't listen to your mother. Your attitude must be the reason why the corruption came.
That's your reason? I get it. So you're a wolf who just wants to kill everyone you don't like. I'm next. I'm voting for Miko.
Muro-sama.
She came to us at the most inconvenient time, and we don't know anything about her. It's too shady.
But she's so little.
I know. But what are we supposed to do if she's actually a wolf? It seemed like he had a point at first glance, but just so you know, I don't believe in monsters. But for all we know, it's possible we really will die if we don't know the rules. We don't follow the rules. Don't worry, if it comes to that, I'll hang her alone. Which honestly is an interesting idea, right? because there could be 2 actual wolves, and Miko could technically be the 3rd wolf, but just like not like fucking no. She could literally just be the 3rd one. Like everyone's voting to hang everybody else, and the game just keeps continuing because you don't get the wolf, and you're like, ah, fuck, it was the little girl. Oops. Like, god damn it. How come we didn't murder the child? Oh, damn, we should have thought of that from the beginning.
That's all I'll say. Kaori-san, you're next.
Yasunaga, can I refuse to vote?
You shouldn't. This is the only way for humans to fight the wolves. People who don't vote could be considered silent supporters of the wolves.
Then who will you vote for?
Could I speak up before it's my turn?
If you want.
I'll plan to vote for the Sato-san.
What?
No one's shady yet. I agree with Kazu-san on that. And since it's possible the village head knows something, you're entirely deserving of our suspicions, Sato-san. Yumimatsu-san might be the same in that regard, but she moved to Yasumizu 3 years ago, while you only came here recently. True. Rich Burlew will give us another Order of the Stick comic if we hang Miko, if we sacrifice more children to the great stick artist. Also, anybody who's watching this, there is a webcomic called Order of the Stick. It's about, it started off with 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons, and it's been going on for over a decade. I highly suggest finding it. It's called, once again, it's called Order of the Stick, OOTS. It's a really cool webcomic. If you know 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons, it will be very comical. And if you don't know it, a lot of jokes might go over your head, but it still might be funny because it's pretty much a comic strip. Anyway. That's enough reason to think you might know about this. That's all, really. It's nothing personal.
I see. So Yasumizu's hatred of Kama Fujiyoshi goes bone deep. I might have to change my outlook a bit. Then I will vote for him too. I thought as much. Well, I believe I understand your family to a certain extent, but hanging me will be a waste of a day. Keep that in mind. My turn. I'm voting for the new arrival.
Seriously?
Uncle, you're not kissing the old guy's ass anymore.
No one's been kissing anything. I simply think he's trying to weasel his way into surviving without lying in the process. I'm not completely confident.
Oh, also, if you do read Order of the Stick, it's also a really good story. Even if you don't get the jokes, because it is a comic strip, it is still a pretty good story anyway.
I'm not completely confident, but as things are, the most suspicious person here is the one who had the least reason to want him to survive. Everyone wants to survive, damn it.
Requesting anything better from a person who has been here only for a day seems a bit cruel.
Say whatever you want. That's it for me.
It's also interesting, like, him saying that he votes for me. I'm just going to say me as the main character. That he's voting for me would mean there's 2 votes for me and 2 votes for him, so he's technically keeping votes tie. So he might not be voting for me because of the reasons he said. He might just be doing it, hoping somebody might vote for others more than himself. That could be a very good reason why he's voting for me. Unfortunately for me, he did have a point. But I already said my vote. Mochi, you're next.
One for Uncle.
Chikamochi, you too?
I mean, it's looking to be a vote-off between you and Richan. Rick-chan's a girl, so I figure I'll let you take it.
Chikamochi-sama. I have nothing against protecting Rikaku-san. That is an entirely different matter.
Anyway, it's time for the one most likely to vote for Uncle. Yoshi!
What for Uematsu?
Huh?
Sorry, he closed his one eye. Huh? I just think she's shading the rest of the scrawny dumbass. Well, I wanted to vote for a certain hag here, but I guess it's more important to actually kill someone. You do the same, Chine.
I'm voting for you, Yoshi-kun.
Huh? Wait. What? Huh?
Yoshi-kun, if you really aren't a wolf, you should stop picking fights with people. There's no guarantee that the wolves are all Kama Fujiyoshi people or the elders, you know. There's no proof you aren't a wolf either. I'm almost completely against everything the Sato-san's saying, but I agree with that much. I hope it's not you, but maybe my vote will encourage you to knock it off.
Is this for real?
Yoshigitsu, please calm down. Everyone, please, I beg you.
Don't worry, Yoshi-kun won't die that easily. You're next, Haru-chan.
That guy over there, she pointed at me. Well, I can't blame you for not trusting me.
Haruki-sama, you're next, Rikaku-san. I am voting for myself.
What? Is that allowed, old man? Nothing against that, right, Teba?
I've never heard of this happening, but it ain't forbidden.
Rikaku-san, I know what I said, but you don't have to force yourself like that. No, your spirit for self-sacrifice moved me and made me realize that perhaps my role here is to take in the hatred of everyone present. If you do not know who to vote for, please vote for me. Just please spare this little girl.
What was I supposed to do with this?
Miko, pick someone to hang.
Him. You goddamn brat!
Don't bully me-chan. Haruki-san, you're next.
Kinosuke-shi, Yoshigitsu-kun, Rikaku-san, and I all had 3 votes each, while Miko, had just 1. What if several people get the same amount of votes?
Huh? And the rest of us will vote to hang one from just them.
Hey, look, it's ranked vote. It's ranked vote. It's ranked choice voting. Damn, huh? I think we should do that more often in certain places.
The rest of us will vote to hang from just them.
Well. The suspects who'd go up against the next round would lose their right to vote, huh? That was something. But if that was how it worked, then what if there's a complete split on the second vote?
If that's what everyone wants, we won't hang anyone.
Well, that was interesting. They go for a final vote by limiting the suspects and giving the voting only to the rest? And if there were several in the limited group who received majority votes, too, they could vote again. But if there was a completely perfectly split among them all, then they couldn't cut the numbers down again or return back to square one, making it impossible to continue the voting. So in other words, if we, in the next loop, we go into the prefab home and we put the big guy in the house with a bathroom and he doesn't die, we now have an odd number being able to break up this original tie. That might be that. Okay, so if we tie now, that's what that save is fixing from before. Either that or that other choice that we could have made but can't make now is like something further down the line. Anyway, this is actually quite a delicate situation. The ones in the lead were Kinosuke-shi, Yoshigitsu-kun, Rikaku-san, and me, with Miko behind us with just 1 vote. Normally thinking I could vote for one of the other 3 to make sure I survived. Then, even if Mamiya-san picked me, I wouldn't die right away. There'd only be a final vote, which was dangerous in its own right. However, I didn't feel like voting for Yushit-kun. His votes were mostly just a punishment for being a brat, so actually killing him would shock everyone present. There was also Kaori-san, who would most likely make a mess of the whole feast again later on. I wanted to avoid that. Then, was I to vote for Kinosuke-shi or Rikaku-san? The former seemed like the better choice. He voted for me, and he'd probably prefer me to die than see Rikaku-san hang. However, he really didn't feel like a wolf to me. Could I really kill him off just because the village heads like him were so resistant? He did say, if you kill me, it's a waste of the vote, which could be him hinting that he has a power, not just that he's a human, maybe? Especially if we kill him and he turns out to be the crow. And now no one can tell if the person we hanged was a wolf or not. And now we're just like, well, we're fucked. What will you do, Mamiya-san?
Why are you asking?
Honestly, I feel like the very act of voting is risky right now. So I want your opinion.
I'll prevent a murder, if possible anyway.
Did she also see it? Did she notice the unlikely but possible way of preventing everyone's lynching? That helps the wolves, you know.
Like I care. This is Japan. We have laws. If you're going to approve a crime just like that, I'm going to stop you for the good person I am.
Words were just too reasonable. Honestly, I feel like a number of you here are voting to make a certain something happen. I mean, you wouldn't normally get votes spread out so evenly. Would a death in a situation like that really be a vote by consensus? Yeah. I didn't think I'd get a response. I had to think this through. In most situations, hanging someone was the way to make progress. However, I still had another option. The snake's power.
If I didn't use it at least once, there'd be no point in me having it. At first and foremost, I had to make it through this day. However, this was a situation without any clear enemies. If we picked someone arbitrarily, wouldn't it be bad for us in the long run? I couldn't help questioning that course of action. Well, there was no point in lying to myself. Honestly, I just really wanted to exploit the loophole in the rules.
If you are hesitant, vote for me, not Miko.
Rikaku-san went and emphasized that. She really didn't have to worry though. Miko wouldn't die no matter what happened. Even if the remaining 2 votes went to her, she'd just become another option in the final vote. And the candidates would either be me or one of the village heads. Rikaku-san would become a good dumping ground for votes, after all. She voted for herself and suggested that others do the same. She was by far the closest one to death. What she did was pretty much suicide. Did she have a suicidal tendency or something? I mean, she could also just be a wolf, and saying vote for me will make people not want to vote for her. But maybe because she actually cares about this more, she's like, I don't want to win. I am a wolf, please kill me. Would actually be pretty funny. Like, yeah, I didn't, because in the last game, the 2 wolves only were doing the killing because somebody convinced them that it was the right thing to do. So if Rikaku-san doesn't know or doesn't believe that it's the right thing to do, asking for her to be killed would be a good way of just getting her removed without stepping on the toes of the other wolves. There might be some reason why she doesn't want to just do that, but she'll get herself out of, suffering. But probably not. Unless. Oh, also, this is one thing I should do. Last time we did this on the first day without any clues, I guessed who the wolves were, and I got one of them correct. 1 out of 2. So I'm going to guess now again who are the wolves, without any idea at all. I think Yoshigitsu is a wolf. I think the big guy is a wolf, because no one's been suspicious of him this entire fucking time, and I kind of feel like he would be a wolf. Just like the old lady was kind of like obvious that no one was voting for her last time either. So I forget what his fucking name is. And then I'm gonna say Mochi. So for this run, I'm gonna say Mochi, Yoshigitsu, and the big guy who I forget his fucking name. I'm gonna say those are the wolves this time. Although it could easily just be Kaori. She could be one too. If her children don't die, then she might be a wolf and just saving them for last. Anyway. She did seem a bit dim in certain ways, but not completely simple and idiotic. Huh?
If you are hesitant, vote for me, not Miko.
Why the emphasis, and why then? Oh. Yeah. I guess I couldn't kill Rikaku-san or Miko after all. That left me with only one answer. I vote for Miko. Mamiya-san voted for her too, meaning we had 5 people with 3 votes on them. We wouldn't then start a final vote centered around them. There were 15 people here. According to the rules of Kanzo-san described, the 5 candidates would lose their votes, and only 10 would get to vote. That made for a very special situation. It was the key to creating a very unlikely situation where no one died. By the time my turn came, there were 4 people with 3 votes. If Mamiya-san gave the votes off to someone else, the final vote would only have 4 options and 11 voters. There was no way to divide them equally. Someone would have more votes and we'd certainly have a hanging on our hands. It'd be fine if we split turned out to be something like a 2-3-3-3, resulting in a final vote, assuming the one who got 2 to his or her vote back. But if it was something like 1-3-4-4, and those who got 4 would be voted on again, you either have 13 or 11 voters, an odd number regardless. However, there were 5 suspects and 10 voters now. If the voters were split evenly at 2-2-2-2-2, the voting would be cancelled and no one would be lynched today. Mamiya-san had realized this too. That was why she hasn't hesitated to vote for Miko. That left us with another problem then. After all, the sacrifice was as good as decided.
Can we just vote for the same person?
Crap, Kanzo-san was going for it. Huh?
Wait, let people vote again.
Kemi realized it and acted on it.
Yes, of course. Otherwise, Mikaku-san, please show me the results.
Yes, certainly. Exactly. He realized it too, and looking at the results just confirmed it. Voter, previous vote. Old wolf guy. Oh, we'll have a second vote. Old wolf guy, Haruki Fusashi. Yes, this is all their votes. This is from the last one we did. Because it was, Exactly. As things were, I, Yoshigitsu, and Miko would have 2 votes. Rikaku-san would have 1, and Kinosuke Shi would come out on top with 3 votes. Of course, there wouldn't be any problems if the results changed, but...
Got a reason for that?
Of course I do. What's the point of a final vote if we don't actually vote?
Chi, did you vote to make the numbers the same right from the start?
Kemi fell silent. She had no rebuttal. The purpose of the final vote was to cut off the minority, those who had the votes, and let the majority's votes do the talking. That was why it was impossible to select anyone, when the votes were split perfectly and there were no minorities or majorities. However, here in Yasumizu, there were suspects. The suspects lost the right to vote. Things were a bit different. By simply removing the right to vote, you already had a difference in votes, so it wasn't necessary to vote again, as a minority that should have done that didn't exist. The 10 who could still vote for the same person, so why wouldn't they?
Can't you people vote for the human's sake?
Those words rang powerful in the ears of Yasumizu's inhabitants. People had to put their lives on the line for the human's sake. This isolated society considered that the right thing to do, and voting again was a sin. Who would insist on committing that sin? Alright, I'm gonna continue. I just need to close all the windows because it was really nice today, but it's starting to drop, and I need to close the windows before it gets freezing in here. Okay, there we go. Everything's shut now because it was just scraping 70 today here with a good breeze. And now that the sun and everything's gone, now it's got a good breeze and dropped by 10 degrees. So I gotta shut these damn windows. Anyway, back. Especially among the 3 who voted for Kinosuke and Nasatoshi. Which one of them could change their minds and vote for Kaku Yumatsu? There were actually only 2 ways left. Would Mochi change his mind or not?
Well, yeah, honestly, this doesn't seem like it happens often. It's kind of interesting. All right, I'm switching to Richan.
Chikamochi!
Stop, old man. Kanzo Mikishamashi stood up and clenched his fist, but Takumi-san went after him just in time to stop him. That's just how Chikamochi is. You know that.
If he ends up helping the wolves because of it, he's a traitor. I know that. But you're feeling it too, right? Come on. Everyone here was gloomy and tired. They wanted to end this and leave as soon as possible. Sorry, it's just that none of us was prepared for this as you are.
I am. But Kanchan, there's no helping it. It's the law to hang according to group consensus.
I know. Don't come crying to me if you regret it.
Feeling slightly guilty, everyone silently listened to Kanjo-san's words of condemnation. The first day's feast had ended, and I'd actually contributed to the group not killing anyone, something I was completely against last time. Kanzo-san had left the hall in defeated silence. After he was gone, everyone else slowly stood up and left. They all wore varied expressions of relief. Fusashi-san, I want to talk to you later. All right. Hearing that as I left was actually kind of scary. Hey, Haruki-san? Oh? Haruki-sama, can I have a moment later? Whoa. Don't act like hot shit just because you have a pretty face, you lunatic. So, what's all this about?
Hey, talk to me too, piss man.
Before it stick... Oh, fucking Christ. 1 second. Goddamn random distractions. Ugh, I'm the most popular person here and everyone wants to talk to me, and yet random bullshit goes off. This really is Interruption Simulator, I swear to Christ. I need a pee. I need a drink. Damn, it's getting cold in here. Oh, look. The alarm's saying it has low battery, even though it's wired into the fucking power. Fuck you. Before it sticks, let me just ask you to stop with that name.
Wanna talk to me?
You're just going to try to prank me again.
What's going on here?
Hey, careful with the secret meetings. The one who interrupted the weird event was Takumi-san. I know the mist is about, but Yozumizu's small. You'll be heard even if you whisper, and it'll be barely half a day before everyone knows what you talked about. You shouldn't share anything too important.
Thanks for the warning. That was true. Even if someone did share a secret with another person, there was no guarantee it'd be kept. Plus, keeping secrets would sow distrust, and meetings with the opposite gender could also spark jealousy. I didn't want anyone special the feast next talking about how I was a wolf having secret meetings or something. Better discuss things out in the open, where there would be witnesses. Fusashi-san, we must prepare lunch. Are you good with a knife? Somewhat. And so, it was time for food. We didn't have much besides the ingredients we had this morning, but there was some curry roe in the storage. We started with that. Can't wait till we have some possum vittles and owl stew. However, it was just one family-sized box. It wasn't quite enough for 15 people. We ended up filling the thin curry sauce with soup stock, salt, and soy sauce. The resulting flavor was pretty potent. The curry we ended up with was more of a soup, but the diner seemed to like it. Apparently, curry wasn't natural here, but was only brought out for special occasions. Damn, if only you had some tasty cornflakes. Or maybe some Winstons. You could make this feast really work. There was actually Yozumizu's local curry. That made me kind of sad, but it wasn't enough to stop me from eating what would have probably been called curry, rice gruel or something. When I washed the dishes and checked on everyone, since Takumi-san suggested we stay close together, we spent our time in a slightly cramped dining hall. Kanzo-san left, though, saying something about looking around.
Stay here. Call out when you step out or I'll shoot you dead.
A threat like that made everyone pretty reluctant to leave. He had the right idea, though. Splitting up before had rapidly thinned the number of humans. That was fine and all, but the threat seemed a bit much. It felt like Kanzo-san was tripping on his own death flag. The ones left at the dining hall were chatting, with the students being most talkative. They talked about their studies, while Kemi spoke of her time in college. Apparently, Kemi was majoring in linguistic anthropology. When asked what that involved, she answered reading books and writing reports. So it didn't seem like her seminars were particularly formal. No one discussed the feast, though. That was related to what Takumi-san had said, which seemed like an unwritten rule here. Whatever the case, everyone was way more cheerful than they were this morning. Chikamochi-kun occasionally spoke to the old wolf guy who was sitting in the corner of the room, while Kiyonosuke-shi did the same to the Kaku-san. Mamiya-san seemed slightly uncomfortable, though. I had to talk to her later. There was some segregation, and it felt a bit cramped, but it did seem peaceful. It was objectively an awful location. No matter how everyone here felt, one of us would entirely be targeted tonight. The current atmosphere was probably better than doom and gloom, but it was bad that no one was interested in reviving and analyzing today's feast. Who would be the target today? After today's feast, I could see several people that were a threat to the wolves. The ones taking the lead were Kanzo and Yasunaga-kun. The two were monkeys and extremely charismatic, to boot. They had both insisted on hanging someone for reasons other than personal grudges, and that was all great. However, Kanzo-san's assertiveness made him stand out, while Kanzo-san aptly pointed out, Yasunaga-kun had a habit of getting ahead of himself. It wasn't good that there was some sort of rivalry between them. Kanzo-san normally commanded a lot of respect, but the young ones like Yoshigitsu-kun and Mochi had a tendency to rebel. The humans' ultimate goal was to wipe out all the wolves, but since their lives were on the line, they could easily switch priority to taking the lead. If they had different ways of approaching the situation, you'll get a confrontation between the generations. With the elders against the youth, that'd waste some time and effort. If that happened, humans would, once again, lose all hopes of winning. Yasunaga-kun had eventually fallen silent today, but I hoped he'd recover by tomorrow and properly cooperate with Kanzo-san. And I hoped they would be in a way that ensured my survival. What did the wolves think of those two? They both had to be eliminated or led into destroying one another. Both seemed plausible. By going for someone else, though, they had a chance of taking out a different guardian receiver. And which one of those seemed more advantageous to them? I also had to keep Takumi-san and Kiyonosuke-shi in mind. Takumi-san was right between the elders and the youth. I had no idea what he was planning to do next, but he had the power to swing a lot of votes. Kiyonosuke-shi was pretty powerless in that regard, but since he wanted to protect Rikaku-san so badly, he could get Tei-san's cooperation. Rikaku-san and Miko had to be protected. That was something I decided. It would be pretty bad if I was making a mistake here, though. True, he did say, give me one day and I'll see if I can come up with something interesting. If he's dead, well, so there's two things. If the wolves know he's not a wolf, then if they think, oh, well, he'll just be killed tomorrow, so that will be fine. That's a day they don't hang us. That it could technically be a safeguard. However, you are correct with the wolves going, yeah, all right, well, maybe he does know something or can figure it out. And he did participate in tying the vote, which did help us, but let's just fucking kill this guy and just, oh, damn, it wasn't him this entire time. Oh, shit. Guess you should have... maybe. It depends if they think he can figure out something that will be important. If not, they just let everybody hang him the next day, and then the wolves, don't get killed because he's not a wolf. Also, I found out that Mochi was a real joker. He'd probably vote for whatever seemed funny or interesting. Things had gone my way thanks to his whimsicality this time, but I felt this wouldn't be the last time he'd pull a stunt like that. As I thought to myself, I finished washing the dishes. Thank you. Let's have some tea. Oh, I'd love some. I passed the counter and walked over to the table. Hello, good work in there. You already seem pretty used to your job. I had to do this much when I still lived with my parents.
What a guy, hear that? All you have it good here. Study hard.
I know. I don't. That's why I'll break all the plates, Miss Pissman Fixed.
Plates aside, stop calling me that.
Then what should I call you?
Hassan, maybe?
Sounds good. You can call me Mochi then.
Yo, Mochi.
I, Hassan.
By the way, Fusashi, you had nothing to say about this guy's clothes? What? Oh, I forgot. Looks kind of good on him. It's not like uncommon these days.
Cute, ain't it?
Seriously? You got lots of these in Tokyo? Not at all, but yeah, they're around. I don't get it at all. Oh, Chikamochi's special though. I don't think anything of it.
Oh yeah, in a couple of years he can be the bartender that Kiryu goes to. One of the bartenders that Kiryu goes to. I forget what the term for that is. But it's like guys in drag or just trans women like who are like the leads of bars. That's what one of the that's I think one of the bar ladies in Yakuza 0 and 1 are supposed to be. It's also a trope in anime, I think. Something like that. A natural disaster, baby. Now, Fusashi-san, may I have a moment?
The tension in the air grew palpable. You forget what I said?
No, I didn't. But you can't expect anything shady from me, can you? I'm a monkey.
Well, that's true. Just don't overdo it.
All right, let's head upstairs.
Are you sure are we sure we should be meeting secretly like this?
Yes. We revealed that we should talk, and I even think I should sometimes talk with everyone.
To make it fair, huh? Does that really work?
First of all, do you believe me?
I don't have a reason not to.
Fusashi-san, do you have a guardian?
I can't say.
Why?
Your behavior around me would change and might tip someone off.
I'm not telling anyone until I've survived the night.
I'm not telling anyone until I survive the night.
Alright, who do you think is suspicious?
I don't know.
Why, who do you think it isn't?
Kemi-chan, Rikaku-san, and Miko-chan.
Why do you think that?
Don't you have your own suspicions?
I see where you're coming from, but if you ask me, you're plenty suspicious yourself.
Fair point. Kemi-chan volunteered to die, risking that it's way too dangerous for a wolf, but she didn't get a single vote.
But you did get even a single vote.
We weren't even talking about votes at that point. We were just discussing volunteers to be hanged. Kemi-chan was actually the first to volunteer. Unlike you and Haru-chan, she didn't have any family to try and protect her at all costs. It seemed like too reckless a move for a wolf.
Yeah, I could say one thing.
Yeah?
I share your opinion.
We laughed a little.
I'm not sure I understand the other two, though. Especially Rikaku-san. It's possible she tried to gain her trust by copying Chine. This might be hiding something.
True. That seems reasonable.
Well, on the other hand, that could have been her way of competing with Chine.
Excuse me?
Before the mist came, Uematsu-san and Chine were fighting over you, right?
How did he know? I hadn't sensed anyone around.
I didn't have much homework yesterday, so I took care of it quickly and handed to the dining hall with Mochi and Haru-chan when we saw you.
I see. So nothing's a secret here, huh?
Please, calm down.
Had I said anything else I didn't want anyone to hear? I was kind of worried now.
That aside, I can hear what makes you. Can I hear what makes you so certain?
Oh, it's just a hunch.
A hunch?
Yep. I considered telling him the real reason, but decided it was definitely impossible to do so at the moment.
No one's listening.
Seriously, it's just a hunch. Also, that's not exactly accurate. You're listening.
Well, that's true. That's probably the right way to approach this.
Honestly, even mentioning Miko-chan in this conversation felt like a mistake. I can only hope he didn't look too deep into it.
Still, I should be trusting you if Miko-chan dies tonight.
A leading question I had to choose my words carefully. I don't know why you think that. If I was a wolf, just giving you all this info would be suicide.
That's true. Alright, I'll suspect you if anyone else dies.
Harsh. I thought you'd trust me by now.
I actually trust you more than anyone else now. Though, keep in mind that I can't really trust anyone until the feast is over.
Not even your friends and family?
I'd love to say I trust them, but looking at what happened to the Makishima family, I can't let myself be so naive.
So we had doubts about the official story too.
Also, ignoring whether it was done by a human or not, someone's already died. If someone else dies tonight, and the culprit doesn't present themselves, we can assume that they accepted their role as a wolf and have begun killing and deceiving the humans.
It's probably not what standard law would say, but this is the dangerous situation where going such things comes with certain punishments.
I see. So you've already justified it, huh?
Justified? I guess you could say that, but I couldn't handle any of it if it wasn't convincing myself now that I was right.
Some wanted to survive even if it meant bending what was right, while others didn't want to discard what was right even if it meant death. Which one of them was more human? Are you planning on being a lawyer or something?
Well, I did consider it, but that won't happen now.
Why are you so certain?
If I survive, it'll be because I hate the wolves.
Yasunaga-kun was smart, but at the same time, he was a sort of perfectionist who wouldn't settle for knowing only part of the truth. I was kind of worried he would get lost in his own theories, making him unreceptive to other ideas. Yeah, I see your point. That's it for me.
This whole situation is difficult even for us locals. I can't even imagine how bad it is for you.
Well, at least I don't have much to lose here. Miya-san, on the other hand.
I don't want there to be any necessary casualties. I hope she comes to understand that, among other things.
I'll be careful when dealing with her. You should be careful too. Don't butt heads with Kanzo on that much.
Choking on my own water. That's true.
Although this did help me earn some of Yasunaga-kun's trust. I resolved not to have any more secret meetings. I returned to the dining hall and chatted a bit, then got a chance to bring up what I wanted to talk about. Mamiya-san, who was scribbling something on her notepad, threw open her pen down exhaustedly. Taking notes about what's happening here, she jumped a bit and quickly stuffed the notepad into her back.
Well, yes, I have to go to the police once I get out of here. I want to be able to provide proper testimony.
That was the right idea. The previous me never made it that far, though. If you're free right now, there's something I want to ask you.
What is it?
You're an ex-occult writer, right? What's your take on the local legends?
I stopped on that when I was still an amateur, though. But I think that it's not very Japanese.
Huh?
Can I continue? None of you will be upset.
We seem to be attracting a lot of attention.
Who knows? I'm kind of interested. I don't give a damn. I don't have anything better to do. What about you, Rick-chan? This is your thing, right?
No. Work concerning the divine is the Migurama's responsibility, but I would be lying if I said I was not interested. We really have an outsider. Seek to discuss our faith.
If Yuimatsu-san says that, then I got nothing against that.
Okay, so this is definitely a change in Tei's personality, because when she was a wolf, she was abhorrently strict to not discussing it, only the rules, everything is word for word legit. And now she's like, yeah, okay, you can kind of discuss how we might just be fucking, this might just be some kind of outside thing. So there's definitely a difference between Tei Wolf and maybe not Tei Wolf. Because if she was a wolf, she probably would just be getting mad right now, being, how fucking dare you say anything against this? What do you mean it's not Japanese? This is our legend. This is what we believe in. How dare you? Because last time she had to believe in the other version of the story where the wolves were the good guys for her to do all the killing. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done it. No one else weighed in, so Mamiya-san began to speak. In polytheistic religions, gods die very often, but you'd be surprised how rare it is for humans to be the culprits. Especially here in Japan, I can't think of anything. In the Shinto mythos, all the gods that are killed die at the hands of either other gods or godlike heroes. This probably had something to do with suspension of disbelief. Someone capable of slaying a god would surely be divine themselves. In the local story, wolves and snakes are the mountain god's divine guardian servants. Oh shit. Not guardian servants. They're basically gods, like Inoi's foxes, the Kitsune. There are Japanese faiths that venerate their servants. Snakes, monkeys, birds, even wolves have shrines dedicated to them.
They do?
Yes. Chibichu is a popular wolf shrine, Ever heard of the Mitsume Shrine? They have wolf statues in place of traditional lion dogs.
Well, that was something to keep in mind.
In the Kumano faith, they worship a three-legged crow, while the Great Hiei Shrine reveres a monkey. Oh, what about snakes? Omiwa Shrine is famous enough. They worship a giant snake called Omomononushi. Strangely enough, the name is written as Okami, great god, but read as Umi but read as Umiwa.
Interesting.
Anyway, yeah, I know that other servants cooperated with them, but the legend here describes nameless humans slaying a god. That's highly irregular.
Hizaku-san paused for a moment.
By the way, doesn't this story of the feasts remind you of something? The part about getting the Okami-sama drunk and then killing them?
That's how Susanoo defeated Orochi, right?
Ah, I know that one. He cross-dressed as a woman who was supposed to be sacrificed, gave Yamato no Orochi lots of sake, and killed him.
Ah, yes. I remember that from Naruto. Believe it.
Yes, I think the local story has roots in other famous stories, including that. Just like most myths and folktales. The original story is probably Orochi's slaying, but I can't imagine how it became about a wolf, or where the existence of a hero disappeared to. In Japan, it's rare to see stories about killing wolves, too. It's more of a Western thing. They had their livestock to protect. Was it perhaps a recent development that borrowed elements from Western storybooks? Like Little Red Riding Hood, for example? The wolf is coming! That too. That one's an Aesop's fable.
Oh!
I think I heard something about that in a culture lecture. If local and foreign stories mix, the result often becomes folklore just in a few years. Exactly. Words of mouth is really unreliable after all. Give it 1 or 2 generations and something becomes a story from a long, long time ago.
Ba-chan, how long has Kamafujiyoshi Shinai Shrine been around for?
I heard it predates the age of the samurai.
Maybe the time it was passed on was different. If not, then maybe it refers to a local event that happened a long time ago?
Like?
They might have banded together and chased away a tyrannical lord or killed a particularly large wild dog.
That seems likely.
There's one thing that's certain, though. Yomamotsu Okami, was it?
Yes, wolves that returned from Yomi.
The term is definitely based in Japanese myth.
Oh yeah, I was curious about that too. What exactly?
Yomotsu Okami is another name for Inazami, the goddess who birthed this country. Izanagi's sister, as well as his wife.
Whoa, didn't expect such a major legend to come up, even if I knew Izanagi and Inazami.
They're siblings who married each other. It's pretty common in myths. I see.
What's wrong with you?
Anyway, Izami's lost her life after birthing many gods, and after a lot of trouble ended up becoming the goddess in control of the Nei-no-Kuni.
Nei-no-Kuni?
Another name for Yomi, the underworld. Yet another name for it was Nei-no-Katsu-Kuni. Some say it's somewhere beyond the sea, while others think that Nei-no-Kuni is just a place with Yomi. That's where she's known as Yomotsu Okami. Well, resurrection is written as returning from Yomi, so the words probably share an etymological root. Both Okami and Yomi just happen to match, so it probably just lives on as a way to refer to her. Oh, I see.
I hope you're following along, chat. That seems likely, in fact. The very usage of the word Yomi makes clear it incorporates ancient Japanese myths. That's true. Ba-chan, she's not bad-mouthing our stories or anything.
Yes, he's right. It's a unique story, and I think it's very valuable.
It's not about being unique or valuable. I believe in Shinai-sama and live well accordingly. That's what I was taught and how I lived my whole life. I'm not sure how I feel about an outsider's view.
Okay, let's leave at it then.
Yeah, now for something more important.
Huh? Something to do with me again?
You too. It's something I want to ask everyone here. It's about the song that Miko-chan and Rikaku-san sung.
Oh. Prayer to Shinai?
Probably. That song's main theme is the Feast of the Yomi Purge, right? My words made everyone freeze.
Shinai-san's guardians are...
But not for long. Yeah, that. Do you know any more?
1 cake, 2 funky, 3 blow, 4 writer.
I was probably wrong in the worst of ways.
Blow.
Writer. She just had to pick up on that, huh?
That's not quite right, I'd say.
What do you mean?
That song taught us to prepare for the mist and exterminate the Yamabito, right?
The same goes for the Feast of the Yomi Purge.
But there's nothing in the song about the ancient killing of wolves or the Onmatsu Okami.
Yeah, that was one of the things I found curious.
I think it's about some old barbaric tradition that's long gone, nothing more.
I see. That's more than I thought if you ask me. Even if it doesn't fit the situation perfectly, it's still pretty close. I don't know about the whole wolf or Yamabito thing, but it's true that Fujiyoshi is being invaded by Yomi, and we are fighting it.
Well, that's stretching things a bit, but yes. It's stupid, right,
Oh, it's stupid, right, Kemi?
Huh? Well, maybe.
Takumi, did you just call it stupid? We're being punished because we harbor too much corruption.
Sorry, Bachan, but the kids here are trying their best too. Anyway, what do you want to ask, Fusashi? Rikaku-san, can you write down the lyrics for me?
It's not something we should show to outsiders. Then we promise not to bring it outside. Think of it as just providing Fusashi-kun with information.
Can we?
Yes, he probably has
An idea. We need something to write, huh?
Yes, thank you.
And so, I now had all the lyrics to the prayer Shinai. Shinai-san's guardians are 1 snake, 2 monkey, 3 crow, 4 spider. 5. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. 6. The badger runs along late with Nair as a fix. 7. The corrupt Yamabito raid. Okay, so what the fuck is the badger? Like, I don't understand that. What's this badger thing? No one's mentioned that there's a badger. Like, what the fuck? 7. The corrupt Yamabito rise to oppose the mountain. 8. Death of the damned Yamabito is the mandate. 9. 1 soul per day now to bind. 10. The mists rise away again. From the top. The first phrase was introduction to the characters. Shinai-san was the god of the mountain, Great Lord Shinai, while the rest of his servants, excluding the wolves. There were numbers next to them, but it didn't mean the amount, it was just a numerical order. That meant that Shinai-san's, however, 2 is monkey, and there are 2 monkeys, so kind of interesting. That meant that Shinai-san's first follower was the snake. The second was the monkey, the third was the crow, and the last was the spider. The thing about the evening mist and preparation for the feast was obviously referring to the timing when the feast of the Yomi Purge had to be done. What confused me was... what's the badger?
The badger from the Tanuki badger incident, surely.
What's that?
You want to study law and you don't know? It was a major controversy in hunting law, where hunters who hunted badgers were accused of hunting tanuki when it was forbidden. In short, the badgers turned out to be tanuki, but it was controversial because in that area they were considered to be a different animal. How's that related, though? I'm reminded of Oji-chan saying that anything with 4 dog legs is a badger. To be specific, they're Malays, Anakuma, the Japanese badger. It wouldn't have been strange for hunters to use a single word for foxes, tanukis, and other similar things.
So badgers are kind of dog-like, huh? What's nary, though?
As in Shishinare?
Shishi is an old way to say meat, which we learned back in the special food dish that was here.
Shishi is another way to say meat, as well as a way to refer to all huntable game in Japan. Yeah, according to Kanzo-ji-chan, boar, deer, it's all shishi.
I knew that already, but it was good to refresh my memory. Is that meat special?
A good shishinare is a luxury.
Did the one I eaten count as good? So that part means that the badger would I keep doing that. That means that the badger would eventually come running and bring shishinare.
Yes.
Incidentally, you probably noticed, but this is also meant to help teach children to count. That's why each verse begins with a number. Also, the Japanese word for mist, kiri, can also mean end, which symbolizes 10 as well.
I've heard that kiri symbolizing 10 comes from the Christian cross, which is shaped like a character for 10, an X, or a plus sign, and Christian being pronounced as Kiritsuo. So in other words, this was established after the spread of Christianity to Japan.
That aside, Fusashi-kun, what are you curious about? I just thought that there's no badger, right? In Fujiyoshi, or the Feast of the Yomi Purge, I mean. I thought I'd get an instant response, but instead I was met with silence. Huh? I'm not wrong, am I? The guardian beasts of the four families were mentioned, but the badger has done nothing? For a moment, I thought it was the wolves, but that really didn't seem likely. Is it something I shouldn't ask about?
Rikaku-san, do you know anything?
No.
Kyo, guy's asking.
I'm no specialist. Huh, no one knew. I mean, we could be the badger. I mean, even though it's not written on our chest, our entire role could just be being the badger who runs through. Or it could be the old wolf man. Who, at a certain point, will just divulge what he knew. Because what was the line again?
I think I heard something about that.
Of course she did.
The badger was a servant to the Okami-sama.
Oh, okay. I think I know who the badger is. The badger was the girl last time who was covering for the wolves. That's who the badger is. The badger is the person who's not a wolf, who will be helping the wolves. Let's see if I'm correct. You mean in Yasumizu's old stories?
Yes, but he doesn't get mentioned much. The lord of the hunting ground was the Okami-sama, and the badger served the Okami-sama on hunts. Or so I've heard.
Is it just one?
One? What do you mean?
I've heard that there are actually 3 Okami-sama.
Oh, yes, there are 3 wolf statues in Shinai-sama's shrine in Kamafujiyoshi. Besides the monkeys, of which there are 2, there's only one of each guardian.
That reminds me. I also just remembered. There was a statue like that, wasn't there?
What, you mean a badger statue?
I remember seeing it too. When I first went to the shrine, there was something dog-like with the others. At first, I just thought it was Okami-sama that wasn't standing upright.
Oh, so the badger wasn't a werewolf.
Yes, before dying, Gen-san said something about it too. The badger is waiting for the Okami-sama to return.
That makes me feel uneasy.
I saw how it was. Did you realize something? It's just an assumption, but I think the badger's a guardian too. By that, I mean there's no badger role in the Feast of the Yomi Purge. That shocked everyone.
What do you mean?
That we might have a human who sides with the wolves. I don't know if the situation is supernatural or just a case of mass hysteria caused by everyone's fear of the legends. But either way, there could be someone who realized that someone close to them was a wolf and switched sides. Or someone who gained the same motive as the driving the wolves to kill people. Whatever the cause, I'm thinking there could be a human who sides with the wolves. Does that sound possible to you all?
What the hell? You're just guessing, right?
I am. But I do think it's likely. There's also the fact that the old man who died mentioned the badger too. Couldn't he have known about it because he'd experienced the feast before?
Now you're taking it too far.
Yeah,
I'd say you're overthinking it.
There was a badger. I'd seen it with my own eyes. Shit. It sucked not being able to make a more convincing argument. Yes, it was a guess. However, I do think we should take such potential threats seriously. Takumi-san said you didn't believe in monsters, right?
What about it?
Despite that, mist came, and you all began the feast. That means that there must be feasts during the other mists, and people died in all of them. I say these two things are certainly true. His silence felt like a gesture of agreement. Then you agree that there was something causing people to become murderous and not turn on their friends, right?
Wait, I didn't say we had any scumbags here. The killings could be done by some Kamafujiyoshi guys.
As naive as always, I had restrained myself from saying that out loud. I didn't want to get on everyone's bad side. Well, suppose that there was. If they used that, they could cause a human to team up with the wolves, right? And this person might not be among us. Insert Among Us sound effect again. Bwah, 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 bwah. Yet. That's not my kink. Yet. The badger runs along late with Nair as a fix. Maybe that means the badger arrives late to the feast, along with a present to apologize. I'll be intrigued by your idea if we weren't in the middle of a life or death situation.
I don't like how you're making everyone more paranoid than they need to be.
Wait, but then... I hope he's just overthinking things. Sadly, I wasn't. I already knew the answer. Last time, Haru Makishima was the badger. After the first night, one day after the wolves came, something happened to her that caused her to switch sides. It frightened her at first, but afterward she decided to make herself useful to the wolves. Gensan, the one who owed my hunt before me, had pretty much confirmed it before he died, meaning that he'd experienced the feast 8 years ago. It was possible that Kanzu-san and the old wolf guy were in on it as well. And since the survivor knew about the badger, it probably meant that the wolves had won 8 years ago. Kanzu-san survived too, though. Was he a wolf then? If the real story behind the feast made people into that, couldn't that have happened to Kanzu-san? Wolves and the badger. I knew it was a thing, but I didn't quite understand how it worked. That was probably something I could only find out if I became a badger. Or a wolf. That meant it was pointless to think about it now. The thing I had to do now was... The thing you had to do now was either figure out a clue from later on or keep passing time. Okay. So right now we have two separate splits in time that we can do. Not to mention a giant split in time we can do in the original timeline that we still haven't done with Kemi. We hung out like that until evening, when Kanzu-san came back, making the same sullen face as always, and we all had an massive dinner. The tables had boiled shishinari on them. The smell was way more tolerable than the first time I ate it, so this one probably hadn't aged as much. I was kind of used to it by now, so I could eat it like I would a normal meat, though I probably wouldn't have insisted on having it if I had a choice. However, since it was here, I could only assume that even the event counted as some sort of special occasion worthy of special food. The Aztecs used to treat their human sacrifices with respect for a whole year before their sacrifice. Mamiya-san whispered that to me alone, and I wasn't sure what to make of that. It seemed like she was implying, at least they won't make us wait that long. What a bad joke. After the meal, everyone went to leave. Kaori-san and I stayed behind to do the dishes. What do you mean you wish the splits weren't keyed? I might have just forgot. That could just be a pun that you're making, and I completely forgot about it. Or if you're meaning something like in the dialogue. Sorry, I might have missed the joke on that one. Thank you so much for your help. Washing the dishes all alone at a time like this might have made me go insane.
I can't blame you. I had to be careful with my words. I actually knew what she was like when she went insane. Ah, yeah. Instead of, I getcha. Where there was just, here's 2 options, choose an option. I guess the reason why they're doing that is because they want you to be able to take in the entire story and know why you're making that choice. Because your character wouldn't have known to make a side decision to say something. So it's not like you would have had the ability to keep on talking or make an inference that you wouldn't have gotten without looping. Like, if we go back to the point in time where Kemi, our choices were to make up a reason why Kemi was being nice to us, with the final reason being something where we actually tell her the reason why she's being nice to us, and we know. So all these, like, some of the decisions definitely could have just have been RNG, like we could just have lucked into it. But some of them were more like, if you don't know the information, you never would have came up with that decision. So some of the decisions would have been neat if it was just more like, yeah, you choose it and figure it out. Maybe if you stumble the right one right away, then there you go. But they're trying to control the story a little bit more than that, I guess. I had to be careful with my words. I actually knew what she was like when she went insane. I need to survive until tomorrow so I can wash the dishes again. Oh, please, don't take it so seriously.
Please take over my duties at the dining hall if the wolves take me.
What? That's too much for me. You're still needed here. Sorry I said that.
It's fine. It's about time we stop looking away from reality and prepare ourselves. Someone will probably be gone tomorrow.
She was unexpectedly calm about this.
Yasunaga, he's such a gentle child. And just like his father, he has a good head on his shoulders. Whenever it's hard, it gives me a gentle smile, consoles me, and always finds the best solution. But right now, his face is so conflicted.
You caught on, eh?
Well, I am his mother.
Yasunaga had a sort of complex about his relationship with his mother. He believed that Kaori-san loved Yoshigitsu-kun more than him. I didn't know if that was true, but it was at the very least. Kaori-san did treasure him dearly as her son. Right as I thought that.
Yoshigitsu, what's wrong? Forget something?
Why do you gotta be the only one who washes the dishes?
Because you don't help.
It ain't just me. The hell and Aniki thinking? Why is he leaving the dining hall at a time like this?
It's good to have your own jobs. We all have something to do. The same should go for you.
You mean study?
That or dry the dishes. Think about what you can do for yourself.
Give me something to dry with.
You really are a good kid, sadly. Your kindness is going nowhere. We just finished.
What was the point of that then? Shit.
Ha ha. Well, I appreciate your attitude. It's laudable. Now, go prepare for the feast and come help tomorrow.
I'm going to.
Yes, good night.
Hold on, lunatic.
Just after I left the dining hall, he caught up with me for the mist. You should remember my name by now, too.
Shut up, Pissman! Pissman!
No! An ambush. Damn middle schoolers.
Enough joking around, lunatic.
Well, that's better than Pissman, at least. So if the joke wasn't the main deal, what was?
Let's go kill the fucking wolves.
What? What do you mean?
I'll tell you. I'm telling all this to eat shit. Fuck the feast and fuck Shinai. I've had enough. Everyone's too chicken shit. Anything can die if I have a big enough stick.
There was not a hint of fear in his voice. However, nor was there any killing intent or violence. So maybe that's what he tried to do last time. In the last one, maybe he just literally just started trying to kill people. And just being like, I think you're a wolf, I'm gonna kill you. And was instantly taken out by the corruption? Like, he did try biting it, so maybe he was no, he wouldn't have been correct. Okay, so that's an interesting thought. Yoshigitsu-kun died with literally a tuft of hair in his mouth. But as far as we know, the old lady and the smart kid didn't have a bite on them. So Yoshigitsu was supposedly killed by corruption, but the corruption could have been the third wolf, is what they said it was? Because they said the corruption could also have been a wolf. So that I don't understand. So maybe he did go after a wolf and then something else killed him. I wonder if any of the other two had a bite on them. Or maybe he was killed by the badger. Wait, did the one girl run away? Or try running away? Did she try protecting a wolf? So let's say it like this. What if the smart kid, I forget his fucking name, the one who I do's voice like this. What if he was found out to be a wolf by his brother here? And Yoshigitsu went, alright, fuck you, bro. I'm gonna kill you. I don't give a fuck. I don't want this bullshit to go on. Tried to kill him. And that's when Haru saw what was going on, killed Yoshi, and that's why she ran away the next day. So I don't remember if that's the order of events, how that happened. I don't remember if she ran away after Yoshi died. But if she did, that could be a way of doing it. The other question is, if the smart kid, the one whose voice I do like this, if he is a wolf, how did Yoshigitsu get a fucking bite of hair in his mouth? Did he actually bite the smart kid and rip out his actual hair? Or was he in actual wolf form when he bit him? Is there an actual wolf form? Is that concretely saying it's magical? Or he just bit, or maybe there was some rant. Or the other possibility is there could literally be somebody running around Scooby-Doo style in a fucking werewolf costume. Or maybe the wolves dress up in a werewolf costume. And Yoshigitsu went, fuck it, and just bit the shit out of him. We did see a wolf. So there is something that we see as a wolf. Whether that's a Scooby-Doo villain in a goddamn costume or a literal person turning into a werewolf, I still am not sure. But we did see somebody who was a werewolf. So the possibility is that Yoshigitsu ran out and actually just fought them in the night and bit them. So it could literally be somebody in a costume that he attacked and got the hair out of. Or it could literally be somebody who was a werewolf. So there definitely is somebody strolling around as a wolf. There's somebody who is either dressing up or is literally transforming. However, they did say when I died, because if we go back to the original loop, I died, and when I died, they said it was because I died from corruption. So that wolf who was wandering around either was the corruption who killed us, or was one of the actual wolves and then someone else killed us? I'm going to assume it was someone who was a wolf running around, but they said it was the corruption that killed us, so I'm not too sure. It's honestly, the more I ask questions, the more it's still up in the air. I need something to be confirmed because I don't know if they're here. The worst part is, I don't know if any of this is an unreliable narrator. Them saying we died by corruption because the wolves can only kill one person a day, but me and the news people died of corruption Corruption seems like a cheat. Like, you break the rules, we'll kill you anyway, and the wolves can just kind of cheat that way. Especially if they can get people to get corrupted and died. Anyway, I'll roll back my questions for now. However, he wasn't messing around. He was defiance and reckless given human form.
What? You gonna chicken out too? You just pretend to be a lunatic, is that it?
I now understand it all. He walked around that night last loop too, and that got him killed by the corruption. Had Yoshigitsu-kun met up with anyone before he'd gone off, like Yasunaga-kun and the others? I doubted that Yasunaga-kun was the one who'd make him into that mutilated corpse. So it had to be that thing. Or maybe that thing? Crap. After I found out about the feast had normal murders last time, I let my guard down a bit. There were still things that couldn't be explained. They were still mysterious, unknown, and scary. However, would I learn anything if I actually went with him? Even if I could loop back, all I would have to show for it would be a memory of me getting torn apart in the mist just before I even realized it. However, if I refused, he would go off on his own and die, making Kaori-san lose it and snap. How was I to prevent that?
Say something, damn it!
I had to hold myself from saying something. This wasn't the time for the dad jokes. See, this is where I think they should put more splits in and actually let us figure it out. But that might be giving away too much information. But this should definitely be a split where we choose to go with him or not. This should be a 50-50, no keys needed, just do it. Go by yourself.
Ha! I knew it, you're a chicken!
Yeah, that's fine by me. Oh, also, we have the snake's power, so we can also kind of tell if someone's a wolf or not, so we don't want to fuck things up. Also, this also does kind of confirm Yoshigitsu could be a wolf trying to get us to die to corruption, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to try to bait you into coming with me. Come on, bro, let's do it. Haha, you died of corruption, eat shit. We got to kill an extra person. So Yoshigitsu is still on my list of he's a fucking wolf. Yeah, that's fine by me. I mean, you'll be out of the way.
Huh?
What a fine listener. Then I could make a move on Kaori-san. She probably gave birth at a young age, so she's still pretty useful.
Hey!
Well, I'm as good as dead, though, so I can enjoy her until it's my time. Rush to your death. I won't stop you. Leave your mom to me. I love how this just boils down to, yeah, kid, go and get murdered so I can fuck your mom. You know what? Your mom's kind of hot. You know what? Your mom's kind of hot. Yeah, you go die. I'm going to go claim her for myself. He's threatening to cut. He's like, NTR. Yes. I'll love her real good and... Whoa. I didn't expect them to charge at me head first.
You motherfucking pig! What do you think you're aiming for?
Crap, that worked too well. I was about to be killed by a generic delinquent middle schooler.
Die, you fucking pervert! Ah!
His words were hurting me, but I could still dodge. Sorry, I was lying. Seriously.
Lying my ass, you motherfucker!
What kind of language was that? I kind of wanted to learn it. It's Yosemite Sam, actually. Dodging again, I ran off into the dark mist.
You shit! Where the hell are you?
Fighting wasn't easy in mist, huh? This was the first time I actually thankful for it.
Where the hell are you? Yagaswago pod!
Yoshigitsu Oribe. Don't act so big, you lose sight of what's important.
Huh?
If you mess up today, you will surely die.
Fine by me, shitface!
Who will protect Kaori-san then?
I don't give a fuck! Leave it to Kumini and Anarchy!
They won't do. They only think about Yasumizu as a whole. If you want to protect your mother, stop throwing yourself into danger and focus on surviving.
Huh? It ain't guaranteed I'd die. I could win. I knew how he felt. I thought the same thing once. But not anymore. I knew it was impossible. That's not going to cut it. What are you getting at? What do you know? I already tried it. I didn't expect him to understand, so it was fine. Huh? Anyway, if you die, I might make a move on Kaori-san. So you better stay alive. Don't fucking play it off like that, damn it! What'd you mean? Good luck washing the dishes. Hopefully that would convince him. I headed back to my hut before it was too late. I heard footsteps and breathing following me for a while, but when I heard someone trip, I stopped and turned around. Are you okay, Rikaku-san? Ow. The area was covered in grass, but that didn't make falling here particularly safe. Why are you out so late anyway? Shouldn't you shelter? I could ask you the same, Haruki-sama. Why are you wasting time fighting? You already took long enough to do the dishes. Wow, a rare sight from Rikaku-san. She was serious, kind of angry, and particularly rambling. Practically rambling. Well, I was helping someone out. I know. You prevented Yoshigitsu Oribe from making a significant error in a very lowbrow manner. Why does it feel like you understand the situation better and know more details than usual? I did not get to speak with you, so I hid within the mist. She was shivering, showing how cold she was. Just how long had she been waiting outside the dining hall? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you did say you wanted to talk. So did Kemi-chan. Thank you for what you did in the feast. Huh? You could have easily hanged me. Whoa, I don't want anyone to die. Sorry, that was a lie. Wait, no it wasn't? But there was another thing. I just knew I didn't want to see you or Miko-chan die. What do you mean? Well, I'm not entirely sure myself. Secret talks weren't a good idea. That was why I didn't say anything more. Oh, I have a question for you. Yes? What would you have done if Miko-chan was a wolf? I would hang alongside her. She was quite a character. Anyway, it's all good. I hope to see more of your clumsiness tomorrow. Oh, Haruki-sama, what are you saying? Me? Clumsy? How rude and... See you tomorrow. What did you mean by... I already tried it? Crap. It's just something random I thought of on the spot. You'd be surprised how convincing mysterious words can be. I do not believe that you have been sent here by the Migurama. In fact, how do I put it? I believe you are a special someone who came here to dispel this mist. You might find such delusions to be disgusting. However, I too am one who grew up alongside tradition and faith. I live knowing little of the so-called science they speak of on the television. Thus, as I am menaced by superstition, I wish to cling to something that seems equally absurd. Rikaku-san, I didn't know certain things myself. I also had a thirst for the truth. I couldn't deny that I defined all logic by casually and standing here after, and causality by standing here after experiencing death a few times. Was that meant as a tool to dispel the fear of the feast? Had I been given this power to do that? Was someone telling me to stop this mad ritual, no matter how many deaths it took? Well, alright, so if my guesses are correct, that the shopkeeper at the store is Lord Shanai, and I meet her in the loop, and she literally keeps giving me shit every single fucking time. She's just pissy that she has to keep pointing me there. I'm going to assume yes. So my assumption is that there is a small bit of supernatural, but most of this is mundane.
And the supernatural part is that Lord Shania, who will be the store owner, or not the store owner, but the shopkeep at the convenience store, is the god of the mountain, trying to get the cycle to stop by giving me these powers. That's my guess. But everything else is something that's mundane happening here in town. And because of that, telling her about it would just give her false hope. I'd love to be someone like that, but sadly, I'm not all that special. But, well, if someone believes in me that strongly, I feel motivated to do whatever I can. Yes. That's it for today, then? What? She extended her hand to me. A handshake? She nodded. Okay, let's promise to meet each other again tomorrow and shake on it. I took her hand. No. She grasped back tightly. Her fingers were slender and cold. Even if we don't meet again tomorrow, let us meet again, in a different life, hopefully a more peaceful one. She let go. Good night, and goodbye. Rikaku-san. She disappeared into the mist. I hoped for that too. Her footsteps were growing distant. I listened, but it didn't seem like she'd fallen again. I turned around. It had been a long time since I'd heard a goodbye. It looked like I wasn't as prepared for this as I thought. I couldn't just assume I'd live again if I died. If I did, it'd hardly be standing with the locals who carried the weight of putting their lives on the line. I would give my all to survive this night, and render that cynical promise irrelevant. Then, once everything was solved, I would use her words to tease her. I could just imagine her turning red and squirming. That would probably be adorable beyond belief. Shania-san's guardians are. I sung the song I'd learned to try to distract myself from the feelings that were beginning to sprout inside me. Yeah, now you're like, damn, I don't know, maybe I should go harem route after all. I was thinking of just choosing Kemi, but now... Barely able to see a thing, I wandered back to my hut. I tore off a page from my notepad, put out a pen from the floor, and began to think. All right. Who was I supposed to use my snake's power on? The most natural idea was to investigate the most likely wolf candidates. But there was a problem with that. Namely, no one seemed to fit the bill. If there was anything wolf-like about anyone so far, it would only be some vague signs that barely meant anything. They were nothing but things that start to make sense after everything was known. Even I, with all my knowledge of the previous loop, couldn't tell if anyone was acting weird. Thus, I had to change my line of thinking. I shouldn't have to force myself to find wolves. I had to confirm the identities of those who could be the most dangerous wolves. Thankfully, we already had convenient leader figures, Kanzo-san and Yasunaga-kun, on our side. As things were, it didn't look like they were leading the humans into the wrong direction. I also realized that they'd been holding themselves back the previous loop. Yasunaga-kun hadn't been a proactive leader because he was a wolf, while Kanzo-san probably didn't want to stand out in order to protect himself because he had some sort of guardian like the spider. The one who noticed that was one of the Yasunaga-kun. He realized Kanzo-san wasn't himself and used it against him, an excellent move on his part. However, we had problems with them being on the same side too. Honestly, they were incompatible. I hoped that they had found common ground soon. And aside, since they were both confirmed monkeys, I had to shift my attention to Takumi Mura-san, who acted as the mediator between the younger and older generations. At first glance, he appeared to be the same as last time, but I couldn't use that to determine whether he was clean or not. Another one I was concerned about was Kiyonosuke-shi. He wasn't popular, but he was noisy and had a certain degree of influence. I couldn't ignore him. He could easily derail the feast, which made him a valuable asset the wolves probably wanted to keep around until the end. There was another thing though. He was actually the only one who seemed slightly wolf-like. I had no idea how many were really hesitant about sending people to their death during voting. However, looking at the voting order, they could have easily have killed Kiyonosuke-shi without even having to make a second vote. Yasunaga-kun voted for him, which was probably calculated. He might have even seen the guy as a convenient first sacrifice. Then Kaori-san and Mochi voted for him too. Then it was the village's youth's turn, who was wildly unpopular with them, making him a convenient scapegoat for blame. However, he hadn't gotten any more votes from them. What was I supposed to make of that? The wolves knew one another. I knew this from the last time, but it was fair to assume that it was common knowledge among the others. It might have been possible that there was a wolf among the village youth, and they purposely avoided voting for him. One more thing. From my perspective, since he wanted to protect Rikaku-san like me and would make votes on that basis, he was actually kind of useful to me. Yeah, I had to admit it. I believed Rikaku-san and Miko to be humans. The former was a normal one, while Miko was a spider.
I told Miko about it. No need to worry. If you are hesitant, vote for me, not Miko.
Rikaku-san had been worried that a feast would have happened soon, which is why she taught Miko about what she had to do. Miko probably didn't have the mental acuity to understand and participate in the feast all on her own. So Rikaku-san might have given Miko some way to convey that she had a guardian. Personal exchanges would be heard by someone, and by extent, the wolves. I was probably even more certain that what I experienced on the way back here, it was just safe to consider it a rule. However, if there was a way to pass on information without making it seem important, you could easily converse in secret. That was why I believed Rikaku-san knew that Miko had a guardian, and was putting her life on the line to protect it. Yeah, because she's a small child. The child wouldn't know to wash away any blood on her chest if there was any there. So Rikaku-san could help her wash it away and just say, don't tell me, or just like, oh yeah, you're clean. She also conveyed it, especially since she really trusts Rikaku too. She also conveyed it to me by telling me to vote for her, despite Miko being pretty much a throwaway vote. That was her way of telling me that Miko was important. I didn't know if that attracted anyone else's attention, if they'd realized that Miko was. However, most of the locals had probably assumed that Rikaku-san was simply worried for the girl. They simply assumed that she was fulfilling the role as one who took on the corruption. That was exactly why people would still be voting for them. Miko's role was probably the same as Kanzo-san's last time, the spider. That was why Rikaku-san was going that far to hide it. Anyway, that was why I decided they weren't suspicious. If there was another option, it was Mamiya-san. Oh, shit. She survived today's feast by saying that she hadn't checked for a mark on her stomach. But if she claimed to have a guardian tomorrow, could that be trusted? She had nothing tying her to Yasumizu. No one would trust her. Whether she was a wolf or a human, I couldn't put it past her to fake having a guardian just to keep herself alive. Those three were prime targets. Oh, I'm being asked to investigate. Investigate Takumi, investigate Kiyonosuke, investigate Hisako. Okay, so I said in my own discussions, I thought Takumi was a wolf. Who the fuck was Hisako? Is that the... Oh, no, that's Mamiya. Okay. I'm going to use the three people that I chose who I spontaneously just said, those are wolves without any knowledge. Yeah, Hisako was a reporter lady. Yep. I'm going to choose Takumi. That's my choice. I wrote down one of their names, placed the paper next to my pillow, and went to sleep. Because in my blind random guessing, I said he was a wolf because he wasn't brought up anywhere in the discussions of who could be one. Uh-oh. Did I guess correctly? Ooh. Okay, so is me getting the key now telling me that I chose correctly? Or is it saying that you get the key no matter what? This might mean that I just chose correctly. Either that or this is the key that me and the big reporter guy who died, I can now swap the thing. We'll figure it out later. But attain key 10, Truth of the Young Leader. I think this might be, I guess, correctly. Ooh, was I correct? Fuck. This doesn't mean he's a wolf. This could just be proof he's human. Anyway, this is the next day in game. So I think I'll see you all on Monday. Well, I will do one more stream of this before I start the new game. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I would like to say... Fine. I will leave you not on a cliffhanger. I would say I would stream this on Sunday, but I'm going to Bacon Fest on Sunday, so I don't know if I will be able to stream this on Sunday. I was informed of my target's affiliation the same way I was given the Guardian. That was strange, but it clearly happened, so I had no choice to accept it. Anyway, it was something I'd predicted. However, what happened this morning certainly wasn't. Stormpike, I don't think they're going to tell you what I found out until later. Even the game is like, this is a perfect cliffhanger. Oh. Everyone's alive. Now that's a good ending. That means the spider chose to protect the correct person. Interesting. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll be back on Monday, and we'll be continuing Raging Loop. Let's see. Menu. Save. And here. And over at data. All right. We'll be back again on Monday. We'll pick this back up. We'll find out what happens in this next day and continue the cliffhanger. Assuming there won't be, since we don't have to describe what happens, maybe I'll be able to fit 2 days in the next stream. And maybe I'll go even a bit longer than 3 hours. Although I did go a little bit longer than 3 hours this time. But yeah, this is a good place to stop. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all on Monday. And I'll tell you how Bacon Fest goes. Actually, wait a minute. There's another day this week that I won't be able to stream. Fuck, is it Monday or Tuesday? Uh-oh, someone's going to be mad at me. Anyway, see you all next time.